Alright, hold on. Alright, okay, I'll just give a quick explanation of like what happened because OBS just went weird. I don't know if it's like something got to do with the application itself or the Wi-Fi. But basically, here's a quick summary of like what happened between the gap because like there's like, I checked it out and there's definitely a huge gap. Alright, so I'll just where's the items? Okay, yeah. Basically, we switched states. I'm pretty sure we already saw that, but yeah. But you know, we called up her to the testimony, but then Ruby is like, oh yeah, well, if you were to tell the truth, she would be held accountable for perjury. She's like, oh shit, I'm gonna start lying a bit. We caught out her lie, or using like this guy's testimony about the marriage thing that was arranged. So it's like, as if it's still trying to put on the spot, like, you better cooperate still. Without, outright saying it, he obviously pointed out, like, hey, you're trying to intimidate her. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just using facts, I'm allowed to use facts. Yeah, but you're still trying to get her to be on your side and such. But anyways, so we decided, hey, let's just use the empowered eye to think through it. And then when that happened, Ruby's like, oh shit, wait! Let's see. Yeah, let's see. Let's see how far back we can go. Okay, not that far. But with Beatrice is gone, you could have everyone just. I don't think it would be that careless. Yeah, talking about the marriage thing, leave it out of business. But you would know the details about like what's happened. You wouldn't be so curious to not know what's happening. Objection! You presented this argument. Blah blah blah. But there would be no need to say that. Yes, I mean he's acting logically. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. What are you trying to insinuate? Something. Even if that declaration was inconsistent. I'll be honest, you remember, must have been muddled by the shock with father's death. His name couldn't have been true. If by some chance it were true, that would make you guilty of perjury. Or perhaps it was Miriam that was lying in her testimony. If your father's statement were true, the court might be inclined to investigate her for lying. Yeah, just trying to manipulate her. It's like, yeah, what the fuck is she supposed to do? Oh no. What do I do? Damn it, she's pressuring Leaf to side with her. She's clearly convicted though. Isn't there anything you can do? Feel a sense of clarity when you look at her. Is the Eye of Horus reacting to her stress? You wonder. I'm sorry, I need time to think. Please don't stare at me like that, Mr. Cuthbert. Wait a minute! Wait! No, wait! It's too late, you did it! You activated the empowered eye! There must be something in her mind that you can use. The state of her father's inheritance is the backbone of your case. Is there anything in her mind that can definitely prove what was on his will? Alright, so let's do that. Let's project. As much as I hate to admit it, this trial is a perfect opportunity to back out of the arranged marriage. Funk changed his holdings are weakening by the day. I doubt he would be able to put up much resistance. And once Beatrice inherits the estates, we might be able to rebuild our family. She is assuming that Beatrice will inherit House Frege. That confidence must mean that she's certain of what was in William's will. But how do you prove that? Is there no like extra hotkey for this? Nope. Okay, I guess not. We have to have a mouse to play this game, guys! Ah! Nada, I know we had our differences, but I did love you. I never wanted you to die. She seemed genuinely surprised and regretful about his death. From your encounter earlier, you know that Beatrice had an accomplice, but he died was Leaf. Maybe tomorrow. I've heard stories about her. I never expected Beatrice to hire someone like her. I wonder if she'll be at the will reading tomorrow. A will reading? She must be talking about William Fergus' will. This man, I thought... Okay, damn it. I was hoping to just, you know, like, be able to just find everything, but accidentally find all the pieces. This man, I thought Esther hired him to protect Beatrice. Is he betraying us, or is Beatrice actually... No, she can't be. I refuse to believe that she'll do something like this. You didn't get leads from that, you should try something else. Okay, just in case this does happen, I'm just gonna save here, because I'm actually curious to see all the dialogue, you know? What? Why am I thinking about this? Beatrice, after all these years, you finally returned. I can't believe this is how things have ended up. If only I was as strong as you, I would be able to endure this. If you get any leads from that, you should try something else. Why would Miriam say those things? Am I misremembering what happened? No, I would have remembered something like that. She must be trying to protect Beatrice. So Miriam's testimony was a conscious lie. Beatrice's inheritance wasn't revoked until the night of the murder. I believe you have enough time for deliberation, Mr. Cuthbert. Are you able to prove the defendant's motive or not? I'm not, Your Honor. At least not yet. It's clear we won't get anywhere until we can confirm the state of William Fergus' will. And we can easily confirm that tomorrow morning, when William Fergus' will is read to his family. How did you... I see. Once his will is read, it will become public record. I suppose I have no choice but to suspend this trial until such time that William Fergus' will is read. Object! This is ludicrous! The case against my client is completely outrageous. We spent the entire court proceeding arguing if our motive even exists. The prosecution has very little evidence that physically implicates my client. It's tomorrow. You clearly don't believe that the defendant had anything to do with the murder. Of course they don't. She's completely innocent. Well, if your client did murder the victim, who did? You stinky little... Your Honor, with no other suspects, are you in a position to pass a verdict? No, I am not. Mr. Cuthbert is correct. The court does not have enough information to pass a verdict. Until the Inquisitors have time to investigate these new developments, I'll be suspending today's trial. We will resume the trial tomorrow afternoon. Court is adjourned. Bonk. Stupid lag. It's the stupid lag. Will this happen? Sorry, I kind of acted without thinking. But out of everything that happened today, I can't believe Stillwind somehow knew you would do that. Right, that is strange. Did you seriously predict what I would do off that one conversation? Considering how things turns out, you suppose she was right on the mark. But that was still a big leap of faith. Anyways, we have some time to ourselves. I'd very much like to catch up on some sleep. Yeah, today's been exhausting, for a lot of reasons. Your work has only started. You still have no idea who Beatrice's accomplice was. Ruby. No, She's the accomplice. Ruby is the murderer. I'm sticking to that. The will reading was just an opportunity to stall for time, so the question remains: who really murdered William Frigga? What the hell was that? Why is your son filling in for Arya? Listen, I have the situation under control. Why is your son filling in? Okay, it's Beatrice. If that were true, I would hate to see a situation you consider out of control. Eris. My father is not pleased with today's developments. You promised that the verdict would be passed before William Frigga's will became public record. This has thrown quite the wrench in our plans. I understand. Shepard is just confused, but he's not a threat to us. We better hope you're right tomorrow, or else your poor word might suffer the same fate as prosecutor Stillman. What? House Frigga is too important of a prize for us to let go. Bring us results tomorrow, or else we'll continue to take more drastic measures. For the first time since the Lord's Ball, you're finally able to get some sleep. You woke this morning fresh, but also a little anxious about the results of the will reading. You arrive back at the Frigga's manor and see that Beatrice, Leaf, Miriam, and Von Sages have all gathered, along with Mr. Morrow, who's accompanying Beatrice as her attorney. You're not really sure what to say to her after everything you've done. They still feel still awkward to approach her and talk about it. Thank you all for coming here today. As Frigga's first associate, I must express my deepest condolence for your loss. I think for all of what I've done when I say, enough, let's just get on with it. Very well then. To get straight to the point, well, Frigga's will was magically sealed when it was given to me. He asked me, his executor, not to submit it to the court for probable until after his death. Although I imagine none of us expected such a time to come so suddenly. Anyways, Lord Frigga's assets included sole ownership of several banking houses throughout Rivengard, 10 million gold in various investments. 10 million? 10 million gold? You can't begin to imagine what anyone could do with even a fraction of that wealth. And lastly, sole control and ownership of the Frigga noble house. The executive takes out a large envelope and uses a rune stone to spell the magical seal on it. I, William Friggas, being of sound mind and body, do hereby declare this to be my last will and testament. I hereby give, devise, bequeath all of my assets and properties, both real and personal, to Jaden von Sanctions, provided that he entered into a legal binding engagement with my daughter, Leaf Frigga, within 6 months of the date of my death. What? That's... William must have added that penny to prevent von Sanctions from trying to steal his empire, but a legal and binding engagement is predicted on Leaf accepting it. She clearly doesn't want to go through with it. If she simply waited 6 months, von Sanctions wouldn't have any claims to the estate. In the event that Jaden von Sanctions does not enter into such an engagement within the specific time frame, my assets and property shall be distributed as such. All of House Frigga will be divided equally among my children, as per the laws of our kingdom. You are right. William Frigga never disinherited Beatrice. That would make Miriam's testimony false, and since Beatrice would receive a portion of William's inheritance, she had a motive to commit the murder. You glance at Miriam. It's hard to read her expression, but something appears to be on her mind. Without a word, she walks out of the room, ignoring both Beatrice and Leaf. Leaf, on the other hand, seems to be in a good spirits. Isn't this great, Beatrice? You can lead House Frigga now, as it should have been. Actually, about that, in light of recent events, I believe I should clarify one thing. As per the Slayer rule, if Beatrice Frigga is found guilty in the current court case, her inheritance will be revolved and divided between you and your sister. Yeah, I mean, you should clarify with the other sister. I see. I shouldn't be so happy for myself. That can't be all, can it? Surely, William added a note of Leave's obligation to marry my son. I'm not sure what you're trying to imply. The figure is an adult with legal autonomy. She is free to make whatever decision she wishes about who she legally marries. Now, if you excuse me. Wait, you have not finished yet! Get back here! I would love to catch up with you, Leaf, but I was only allowed to allow myself to attend the reading. You noticed an Christian Knight was outside the door. He seemed to be watching Beatrice intently. But don't worry, I'm sure once this misunderstanding is resolved, we can talk all we want about our family's future. Of course! A group of knights leads Beatrice out of the manor, and they follows after them, leaving you and Celeste alone with Miss Tomorrow. About what I did. Look, I'm not angry, Chabert. Oh? It was an extremely unforeseen situation, and still when Clay puts you on the spot. You felt pressure to do something and you made a rash decision. But I'm sure the court will understand if you withdraw. Wait, what? Chabert, you're not a prosecutor. You know that, right? Didn't you become an attorney to defend prosecuted mages? But Beatrice is guilty, I saw it. I'm not gonna argue about this again. You are going to withdraw. This is not up for discussion. You already regarded and respected Miss Tomorrow, and I suppose that always made you deeply scared of disappointing her. Perhaps she's right. She knows about more about what's going on than you do, and she's still your mentor. You want to believe that. You really do. But deep down, you know that this is wrong. Miss Tomorrow may believe in Beatrice's innocence, but you can't just abandon this case and let her escape justice. Your hands are trembling. Why are you so scared right now? You know what you have to say, but words won't leave your mouth. From behind you, you feel Celeste hold your trembling hand. It was warm, comforting. It was the same sensation you felt back then. Somehow, you can feel it through her hands. It's as if she's telling you that you know what you have to do. Your anxiety fades, and you take a deep breath. I'm not going to do that, Mr. Morrow. What? You say it yourself. Our courtroom system needs a defense attorney and a prosecutor of equal power to keep things fair. That's not what I'm not gonna withdraw. If you believe in Beatrice's innocence, and if you truly believe you're on the right side, then prove it by beating me. Fine, do what you want, but you're only gonna make things harder for everyone. Tyrion? I say as Mr. Tomorrow step out of the room, your body drops to the floor. Whatever made for you felt before got replaced with an extreme amount of fatigue. Scaled Lord, that's the first time I've spoken to her like that. But you still did it. You stood your ground. Figuratively, I mean. Right now you're kind of just sitting on the floor. Yeah, I just need to take a moment. Can we go back to the ballroom? You return to the ballroom and take a moment to recover. You spot Commander White at the edge of the room, but you're not paying much notice. It takes you a while before you're ready to stand. You okay? Yeah, I just need a little moment. Anyways, the real ring brought us a few more hours to investigate the murder. We should probably take advantage of the new information we just learned. So, where should we start first? Right, you're the prosecutor now. So that would make you his boss for the time being. This is weird, right? Yep. Awkward aside, I never really led a task force before. What would Stillwind do in this situation? Normally do in this situation? Well, she would normally have us investigate areas of interest. Right. The context of the investigation tends to change after each round of court proceedings. Well, we're lacking a lot of physical evidence. Could you and the Christian search the gallery and Beatrice's room? Perhaps you can find evidence of this, how the sort of spell eating was stolen. Whatever you say, boss. That covers the Inquisitions, but what are we gonna do? It's clear that Lord Frigga's inheritance plays a large role in this case. Even if it's not valid, we can take a look at the modified will that he was drafting. He might give us some insight of what he was really planning to do with his inheritance. Come on, where is it? As he entered William Frigga's study, he spotted a figure rummaging through the drawers in his desk. Why isn't it here? Where else would he put it? Miriam? What? As soon as she notices, Miriam quickly closes the drawers and walks towards you, but you already saw what she was doing. She was definitely looking for something. This is a crime scene. What are you doing here, Miriam? As if that's any of your business. Considering I am the prosecutor, that's very much my business. You give a side glance to the knights stationed outside the room. They should have stopped her from entering, but perhaps she used her status to intimidate them into letting her through. However, this could be a blessing in disguise. She was clearly looking for something in this room, and you have a feeling you know what it is. I gotta be right back. Oh wow, OBS is not working! Holy moly, guys! Oh, hold on. Alright, is this better? Okay, yeah. You appear to be looking for something, Miriam. What could be so important that you would disturb an active crime scene? It's not even concerned. I am merely trying to find something that belongs to me. Really? Because I have a feeling that we might be looking for the same thing. You're looking for the wheel that your father was drafting, aren't you? That's... Are you trying to destroy it before we could get to it? No, of course not. I just need to see it for myself. Oh, is she also suspicious of Beatrice? Why were you so determined to find the drafted will, Miss Frigga? I just wanted to see what my father's final wishes were. Well, your father already had a will filed previously. Wouldn't that be enough? You also suspect something, don't you? Of course not! Beatrice would never do something like this! Miss Frigga, I never even mentioned Beatrice. Well, to be fair, context is everything. I know how things may look, but please understand, I'm just trying to get to the truth. I don't think her sister did this, but I think she may have been involved. She may have worked with someone else to orchestrate her father's death. Unlike Leaf, she didn't immediately deny it. That means she had already had her own suspicions. Here's the will, Miriam. I need to see it. I don't know. I haven't been able to find it. You recall that she was frankly searching the William's desk earlier. She's probably telling the truth. It should have been here, but I can't find it. He locked the door when he began drafting it. In addition to that, the encryption closed off the area when the body, after the body was discovered. That means someone took it during the lockdown. It was probably done by whoever murdered him, right? Yeah, that would make the most sense. Which means that whoever did this wanted to nullify whatever was written on it. It's looking more and more like the motive behind this was William's inheritance. Anyways, looks like we won't be able to find the will. But the fact that it was taken must imply something. For now, we should follow our other leads. There's also the question of who committed the murder and how. Don't we already know that how? The murder sort of spell eating and uses it to break into the study. That's true, but how they would have needed to move around the matter. The murder takes in the first floor, within William Frigga's study. But the gallery was on the second floor. That would have needed to go upstairs, steal the sword from the gallery, and then use it to nullify. Oh, hello again. Hello. Yeah, internet. I don't know what happened exactly. You know, if it's the program itself or the internet, probably a combination. But yeah, it's a bit. I don't know. You may have to do a lot of rewatching just to understand what's going on. But basically, we got the prosecutor for this case. The defendant is really suspicious, and so is Ruby, our mentor and the lawyer for this case. And you know, I'm sure you remember what happened the last time, but basically, Ruby has been like super manipulative as well during the entire case. You know, trying to get her to keep lying and such. And like, it's funny like how she just like just realized like that we were gonna use the empowered eye to project something. Do the projection parts. And, I'm sure you get the idea mostly. Maybe you could just skim through the video, I guess. It's not too much. They would have need to go upstairs and steal the sword from the gallery, then use it to nullify the lock on the study. Not only that, they would have to need to go back upstairs and plant the sword in Beatrice's room. About that, if someone conspired with Beatrice to do this, why would they plant the sword in their room? That's a good point. Perhaps they had a falling out. The partners might have tried to betray her by pinning the blame on her. But if that were true, why wouldn't she just sell them out and make a deal with Stillwind? It would be because of the Slayer rule. Slayer rule? I remember the guy at the will rings also mentioned that. What is it? It was a law passed by the crown centuries ago. According to that, if someone is involved in another person's death, even accidentally, they will not be allowed to inherit the deceased's property. Even if Beatrice is directly involved, she would lose her cut of the inheritance if she took a plea deal. More importantly, it doesn't sound like Miriam completely believes Beatrice's innocence either. If that were true, what else can she tell you? Miriam, it almost sounds like you suspect Beatrice as well. Am I incorrect? I don't know what to think anymore. Why else would she threaten me? Wait. She was threatening? Miriam, did Beatrice is threatening you in some way? What? Of course not! The testimony yesterday was quite convenient for the defendant. You almost got the whole case thrown out. And we didn't seem to understand what was going on either. But the way she gave her testimony yesterday, it was almost like she was covering for you. Does he seriously not know? Please, promise me you won't tell anyone about this. I won't tell anyone. What happened? About an hour after the murder, I was approached by Ruby Tamora. She gave me a list of test segments to give in my testimony. Statements were true, but she assured me that my silence would protect me from any scrutiny. What? She had information that I had to try to keep secret, and she threatened to make it public unless I cooperated with her. No, she wouldn't never do that. I'm telling the truth. Please, you can't tell tomorrow that I told you. She'll ruin me. The eye shows that her fear is genuine. She's not lying. I've seen that woman do all kinds of shady shit in the cases I've worked. Forgery, bribery, blackmail, you name it. I bet you're just the same. A successor of the devil of defense attorneys. The rumors, they can't be true. Refuse to believe it. Hey, Tyrion, are you okay? Now is not the time to take yourself. There's too much at stake right now, and you have a job to do. We should check on Commander White. He might have found something. Okay. Just don't push yourself, okay? Yeah. You have plenty of time to think about this later. As you move around the manor, peek into the seating room to see if Fontaine is still there. You don't see him there, but you see a spot another individual. What? He's calmly reading some kind of book, but you feel a menacing aura emanating up from him. This aura! You must be a daft if you think I wouldn't notice your presence. What? Did he notice you? You barely entered the room. Before you have a chance to respond, the man pulls out his great axe and rushes towards you. Wait, You bring up your arm to block his blow, but in hindsight, that probably wouldn't do much with an axe that large. Potagious! You open your eyes. Slice is now standing between you and the axe-wielding maniac. You're not sure what happened, but it looks like she knocked him back several feet backwards. Ugh. Oh, it's you two. What the hell was that? You could have killed him! You shouldn't have snuck on me like that. I almost cleaved him in two. Tyrion didn't do anything wrong. Who the hell do you think you are? I am Lord Bluesky Stillwind, Grand General of the Wyvern Guard military forces. Oh, okay. Okay. Bluesky Stillwind. Oh, okay. Stillwind. So this is Prosecutor Stillwind's father. Ah, I see. They do share the same intimidating stare. Although he's not the most intimidating person in the room right now. So that's it, it's fine. I'm not hurt. She looks more irate right now, but she begrudgingly sheaths her sword. Anyways, Lord Stillwind was one of the people with the motive to murder William Ferger, and as a fellow head of a pillar house, you might have some information about William and his affairs. If looks could kill, McCoy, one might interpret that looks of yours as murderous intent. Aw, guess you do have some battle instincts after all. I honestly wasn't sure, since you so obviously have a silver spirit on your Celeste. Such lack of respect and discipline. If you were one of my soldiers, I would have you hanged. If I was one of your single soldiers, I would hang myself. Okay, let's all try to stay civil here. Lord Stillwind, you were here at the Lord's Ball when the murder occurred, am I correct? I was. Do you mind if I ask some questions about what you saw that night? If that's okay with you, I suppose I must oblige, considering that my daughter was so unceremoniously thrust her responsibility onto you. I'm sorry about what happened to your daughter. I'm sure that you're very worried. It's her own fault for exerting herself despite her injuries. Even the bravest warrior know when to stay off the battlefield. How can you say that? Your daughter was trying to do the right thing. Were you prosecuting the heirs of House Ferger? She had very little evidence of substantiate, whatever, a conviction, whatever the word is. If she wanted to strike a blow on a rival house, she should have been certain that her enemies would fall. But now, if Beatrice Ferger is found innocent, any hope of alliance between House Ferger and House Stillwind will be completely annihilated. It's clear that he and the prosecutor to have vastly different priorities. Where were you throughout the night throughout the night? Okay, let me try that again. Where were you throughout the night, Lord Stillwin? I saw Lewis gathering like that. They're a complete waste of time. I was in this room, but then I received word that Lord Frigga's Lost Heritage had made an unexpected appearance. She was supposedly sneaking with the Crown Prince, so I made my way to the ballroom. Did you speak with them at any point? No, I kept my distance and stayed near the King's Guard. I didn't make sure she wouldn't try anything. Was this because you were wary of Beatrice Frigga? Yes, I was. The Crown Prince has always been a bleeding heart, and the Friggas are trained to sharpen their tongue from birth. I need to make sure that she wouldn't try to interfere with his engagement. You were worried that she would try to take Esther back? I was, but it was clear that wasn't her intention. But you did overhear their conversation. What were they talking about? The conversation was completely inane. It was all just small talk. Lady Frigga spent most of her time playing with Prince Elric. Right, as his youngest brother was there too. You know that Beatrice had some role in the murder, even if she wasn't directly responsible. Did she have some unknown goal by speaking with Esther and his brother? You went to the ballroom when you heard Beatrice has returned. Was this before or after the lockdown? It was before the lockdown. That sounds about right. That means that she was accounted for before the theft was reported. And did you see her leave at any point? No, she spoke with the two princes for quite a while. She didn't quite leave their sight until she was arrested for Lord Frigga's murder. What? That means she was accounted for the entire night? Huh. Alright. Interesting. But her thought said she was an accomplice in William's death. Was she there to distract the King's Guard? Well, thank you for answering our questions, Lord Stillwin. I'm merely repaying my daughter's debt to you. You're surprisingly pretty cooperative, but doesn't leave any suspicion of him just yet. You'll need to find more evidence if you want to know for sure. Anyways, we should probably move somewhere else. Let's hear, Celeste. McCoy. What? Your spellcasting is undisciplined, but your battle stances and reflexes are commendable. You have my respect as a warrior. As if that means anything coming from you. What an undisciplined and defiant brat. I guess we're going here. Keep it in that corner! Don't let it get away! Get away from him! As he enters Beatrice's room, you see the Inquisition's cornering something near the back of the room. Some sort of animal, or wolf to be exact. Wait, is that? Recall seeing the same wolf on the night of the Lord's Ball. Has it been in the house since the murder? Intruders must protect the Queen! What? Did you read his thoughts? Did you just read his thought? Protect the territory from enemies! He must see the Inquisition as intruders in his territory. Does it mean he sees this room as his home? You slowly start to walk towards him. Wait, Tyrion? Stay back, kid! It's a wild animal! There's no telling what it'll do! You ignore them and continue to approach him. Don't worry, I'm not here to hurt you. It's human. You can speak language of dog? Wait, you can understand me? Why are you talking to it? Speaking plain dog, of course. Draco understand. What's going on here? Is the Eye of Horus allowing you to speak with him? You never tried it before, but perhaps your powers aren't limited to humans. Anyways, this could be a good opportunity. You don't know what else? Wonder what else he knows. Tracker, is that your name? How did you? Yes, Tracker is Tracker. That's the name Queen gave to me. Give. Tracker gestures to Leaf that when he mentions his queen. He called you his queen. Do you know him, Leaf? Yes, but how? How are you talking to it? That's... You were so caught up in speaking to Tracker you didn't realize how strange this scene must look to everyone else. I'm a dog whisperer. You never mentioned that before. Do you always expect us to believe something like that? Tracker says he can understand him. He told me himself. Wait, how do you know that? So, Leaf, how were you able to communicate with Tracker? I suppose there's no sense in hiding it anymore. Tracker is my familiar. Familiar, so it's the same magical bond Harold had with his monkey. You recall that the familial spawn spell allows the cats to telepathically speak with their familiar. That must be how she's speaking to him. You never mentioned him during the questioning. It wasn't relevant to the investigation, and I've been keeping him a secret from my family. I suppose that makes sense. I doubt what Philip would allow you to keep an animal in his house. Well, I don't appreciate you keeping this info from us, but it doesn't look like anyone got hurt. And aside from his dog, we haven't really found anything new. Damn it, they didn't find any more physical evidence of the theft. Looks like you ran into another dead end. Unless... Tracker, I saw you on the night of the murder. What? Tracker! Uh-oh. You're supposed to stay in this room. Wait, is that why you won't allow the servants to enter it? I didn't want to keep him in Beatrice's room, but he was very insistent that he stays here. Tracker likes the ambience. Right. Wait, if you live in this room, did you see who brought the sort of spell eating here? I heard you asking that, but he didn't see anyone. He must have been taking a nap. Either that, or he was roaming outside even though I told him to stay here. Damn it. Dragon sees a lot of other things though. Dragon sees many new people that night. Right, he was roaming the manor during the Lord's Ball. He must have seen a lot of new people. Wait, if he was walking around, he must have seen something that the Inquisition doesn't know about. Can you tell us what you saw on the night of the murder, Tracker? Tracker sees rats! This may have been more difficult than you thought. I need you to be more specific. Can you go in order, tell me about everyone that you saw that night? Okay. Drago was taking a nap in room. But Drago woke up from loud sounds outside. Drago hears small things running in the walls. Running in the walls? Drago calls Queen, but she didn't answer, so Drago decided to check sound alone. Drago follows sounds outside. That's when Drago smells the bird smell. Bat smells? That's when Drago smells flying rats! You smell the flying rat? Do you mean like a pigeon? Tracker could smell where rats was, so Tracker balked at him. Tracker must have scared Rat because he fell onto the floor and dropped his stick. The rat had a stick? Tracker could see them now, so Tracker did one final block to scare him off. The rats were scared and went back into the walls. It went into the walls? That's when Tracker picked up the stick Rat dropped. Queen finally answered Tracker and she told him to go back to his room and hide. After the message, Tracker brings Stick back to room for inspection. Do you remember what time this encounter happened? What is time? Right, an animal wouldn't really have a concept of that. What did he say, Tyrion? Did he see anything? Well, he definitely saw something. Okay, let's try to take a moment to work through this. Tracker is an animal, and despite being able to speak with him, his use of words is very primitive. Yeah, this use of words is very primitive. The first thing he heard was small things running in the wall. The servants were complaining about rats through the air vents and sent me to take care of it. I heard one of them running in the fence upstairs, and I followed it here. I figured it had nowhere to go, so I opened it up and pulled out the trap down. He must have fed the rats that Jan mentioned. They weren't actually running the walls, they were running in the fence. The next thing he did was call the Queen, but she didn't answer. Leaf didn't respond because she never got Tracker's message. The telepathic capabilities granted by Familiar Bond were disabled by the anti-magic field, which means that this encounter happened during the lockdown. So that covers his first two statements, but you're not really sure what to make of the flying rat he saw. Tracker, why did you refer to the rat as flying? Because rats don't usually jump and fly! Yes, I got that. I still possible that what you saw wasn't really a rat? Rats are rats, the small things that run and hide. So rat is a general term for it. It uses to refer to a small animal that are acting suspiciously. Anyways, with everything you know... Okay, yeah, it's definitely the monkey. His last statement that... Tracker, about that stick you found. Where did you put it after you came back to this room? Tracker hides sticks in safe place, under the bed. And this stick, did it look like the sword my friend is carrying? What? Hey, you friend stole my other stick! Wait, your other stick? Yeah, Tracker found it while he was hiding from the Metal Man. Metal Man? Is he referring to the King's Guard? He must have left the bedroom after when they were searching for the sword of spell eating. Wait, are you the one who stole Celeste's sword? Tracker! Did Tracker do it bad? It's as I suspected. Tracker was the one that brought the sword of spell eating here. What? I have no idea how or why, but the sword of spell eating was lying in the hallway somewhere. Tracker found it and brought it back to Beatrice's room. His room. That can't be. So the person who framed Beatrice for the theft was... If it went for Tracker, the Inquisition would have never honed in on Beatrice at all. But why would the sword of spell eating be lying in a random hallway? Leaf, do you mind if I borrow Tracker for a little bit? It's okay, Queen. He smells good. Tracker trusts him. Thanks, I guess? Okay, but only if you allow me to accompany you. You know about Miriam's position, but how does Leaf feel about you prosecuting Beatrice? Possible that she might try to sabotage the investigation if you let her accompany you. But as Tracker's owner, you don't really have a choice. You're not to Leaf. But you also send a subtle gesture to Celeste to keep an eye on her. You silently nod and slowly follow behind her. Alright, Tracker, can you take us to the hallway where you found these rats? Sure thing, King! Looks like you've received a promotion. Okay, that's pretty cute. Hallway. Yes, hallway! It's gonna be the monkey, isn't it? You allow Tracker to lead you into the location where he found the sword of spell eating. Surprisingly, it's fairly close to Beatrice's room. He probably didn't travel very far before he met those rats he mentioned. As you continue to float towards your destination, Tracker suddenly became extremely tense. Tracker? What's wrong? Enemy. Oh? Before you even have a chance to react, Tracker steps between you and Eris and begins angrily barking her. Oh dear. Tracker? Stop that! Leaf tries to calm Tracker down, but he's undeterred. He continues to bark at Eris, and it looks like it's taking all of Leaf's steps to hold him back. I'm very sorry. He's not usually like this. It's to be expected. I'm not sure why, but animals have always been able to see. But animals have always like. Alright. What is Eris doing here? You recall seeing her at the barracks too. She said that her father is friends with Beatrice, but she's involved in this case somehow? Anyways, you came here for a purpose. You should examine this hallway and see if you can find any clues. Oh yeah, let's just investigate this. There's an air vent. Goes from the ceiling to the ground floor. Is that where the rat escaped to, Tracker? That's where the jumping rat went! I thought you said it was a flying rat. Tracker sees that too. Right, it would probably be better to just move on. Anyways, where does this rat come from? Rat comes from the other wall. Do you mean the event on the other side? Yes, Tracker saw flying rat escape that way. What was the rat doing here in the first place? This crystal will generate the thing, but however the sword of spell eating makes its wielder immune to these fields. That does make sense actually.
Repario Arcanum!
What? What do you see? The vents have traces of illusion magic inside them. What? The traces also go deep into these vents. It's the same for the vents on the other side. too. Why would there be traces of illusion magic inside the vents? What spell could have possibly left those traces? As I told you many months ago, illusion spells tend to do one of two things. They either create freestanding illusions, or they can create an disguise an existing creature. I doubt someone created a small freestanding illusion in the vents, so a disguised creature must have been inside these vents at some point. But these vents are tiny. No one will be able to fit inside them. Tracker could see them now, so subtracted 1 photo block to spell them off. But a rat would be able to fit in these vents. Well, yeah, I guess that would be true. But that would mean that rat had an illusion spell active on it at the time. It's not only that. He said that the queen finally answered him, and then this happened after he picked up a stick. Field. Tracker saw this rat during the lockdown. That would have been inside the anti-magic field created by the lockdown. There can only be one way that rat could have an illusion spell active on it. Wait, you can't mean that rat was holding the spell of spell eating. What? But how is that possible? A rat wouldn't have the strength or hands to carry the sword. Tracker's vocabulary. I know, I'm like Tracker now. Oh no. Waka. Vocabulary, whatever, is primitive and limited. He uses the rat to describe small creatures that hide and act suspiciously. But even if it was an actual rat, it still couldn't have been a human, right? You're right. It would have to be a small animal. A small animal with the strength and dexterity to traverse a small air vent while holding a sword. Sorry, but we have to ask, is that a monkey riding your back? Yes, this is my familiar, Eugene. No, are you serious? We know that Harry had a motive to kill William Frege. He was planning to defund the Harrison of whole of history. They had an argument that night, and that's when William Frege decided that he was going to defund Harris's museum. It could be all a coincidence. He must have struck a deal with Beatrice, and with Beatrice's portion of House Frege, she could have easily kept his museum funded. He could have faked the robbery and sent his familiar to have been able to no one would have noticed a small invisible animal. And in addition to that, he moved through the air vents, being nearly undetected that night. Beatrice is the master of illusion magic, so it's possible that she casts invisibility on Eugene. Occultory. One of the highest form of illusion magic. The spell makes the target creature or object completely invisible. While invisible, the target will be completely transparent and undetectable visually. If targeting the creature, the spell will also affect anything that the creature is wearing or holding. Then, as to the position of this air vent. We're currently standing in the hallway just north of Beatrice's room. Okay. Like here, I think? And this air vent connects to the ground floor. If we align the two floors, this vent must lead to the storage room. Right, the air vent curves upwards. That must be where it leads. And according to John, the air vent directly leads to William's studies. It would have been the perfect route to enter William's study and leave undetected. But wouldn't he have to nullify the... But he wouldn't need to nullify the lock to enter that room. Why would he need to use this sort of spelling at all? Because of familial bond, they can telepathically communicate with each other. I would probably need Eugene to hold the swords so I could tell him exactly where to go. Hello, Chan Kuang. Welcome. Currently in the middle of a case right now. Normally we play as a defense attorney, but this time we're a prosecutor investigating against our mentor's current client. Quite bonkers. Makes sense now. Harry could have easily faked the robbery to take suspicion off of him. It's even possible that he was lying about how the display glass was shattered. But I've known Lord Harrison for many years. I just can't believe that he'll be involved in this. She may have known for Harry for a long time, but she never read his thoughts. His thoughts were very hostile and rude, despite his kind expression. He's very good at hiding, like, murder mystery games. Still work in progress, unfortunately. Making murder mystery is a lot harder when you want to make it big. But you know what? I want to have fun doing it, you know? You don't want to not have fun. And you know what? I like this game. It's not perfect, but you know what? I think I'd prefer it that way. Doesn't have to be as polished as, you know, Ace Attorney, I guess, or... I was gonna say Danganronpa, but nah. But, you know, still. It's actually pretty charming. I like the story. Even if it does have sillier moments. And Beatrice, and there's no way she would participate in a plan like this. Look, Leaf, I know you don't want to suspect your sister, but it's not that. Beatrice would never trust anyone enough to work together like this. When she's completely blind, she wouldn't have much of a choice. Even so, she's not the type of person to trust her accomplice to stay quiet. She would find a way to carry out a plan herself. She could only employ someone else's help if she had full control of them. He probably knows her better than you do, but that working alone would be possible with her condition. I can't think of any other way that she'll be involved in this. Wait, let me check something. Oh, right, I didn't. Yeah, Danganronpa mentioned! Oh! It's kind of a poopy poopy series, but you know, I like it like that. I just realized I've never posted my Instagram accounts in any of my live streaming descriptions. Whatever. Is it on my YouTube channel at least? Maybe you can check through. No. Okay. Whatever. I uploaded new artwork just today. Well, I mean, it's not that new. I may have been back, but I just upload it anyways. Which would be like an animated series I want to make eventually. But you know, that'll have to wait. But you know, it's pretty much the same name as my YouTube channel, you know, like vivid detailed pictures. But anyways, moving on. Sorry. Anyways, we're finished here, aren't we? Yes, thank you for lending track to us, Leaf. I only wanted to help you find out what really happened. Don't make me regret trusting you, Mr. Chabert. If you're truly on the side of justice, then you won't. Good. Now if you excuse me. So that's it, right? We finally know who really committed the murder then. And if you can get Harold to confess on the stand, it might reveal Beatrice's involvement as well. And if he does that, we might be able to convince her and Mr. Morrow to take a plea deal. Although, knowing Mr. Morrow, that'll be easier said than done. Anyways, this is definitely the lead that we've been looking for. But is it really enough? No, there's gotta be more to this. Though I do like what they're doing with it so far. Not really certain. I knew the monkey was suspicious. We still don't have any physical evidence. It'll have to do for now. We're running out of time. We'll just have to call Harold to the stand and testify about what he did that night. If I can push him far enough, I might be able to catch him lying. But I doubt it'll be that easy. He has a good poker face. Just how much will you be able to hide his true thoughts? Oh, you get my statement to the equation? Is my testimony really necessary? Sorry, old timer. My order came straight from the prosecutor. We're gonna need you to understand. I understand. I'll do what I can to help. Is he actually the one? I'm gonna be honest, I can't tell. Yeah, I guess this is one of the problems with it's pretty much, because of the lag, it makes it look funnier. Oh yeah, thank you for subscribing, Nate. I appreciate it, Chung Kwang. Do you have a channel, or is this just a... Anyway, either way, I appreciate it. Thank you. Anyways, oh yeah, I forgot to raid. Court is now resumed for the trial of Beatrice's figure. Oh yeah, yesterday I keep calling her name Beat Rice until I was corrected. Beat Rice, Beat Rice. Beatrice, it's Beatrice though. It does make more sense at least. Beatrice. That was reviewed yesterday's proceedings. There was much debate over William Frigga's inheritance. More specifically, it was unknown whether the defendant had any claims to her father's inheritance. This detail was crucial in determining whether the defendant even had a motive to commit the murder. Luckily, the victim's will was supposedly read earlier today. Beating the rice! Hell yeah! Ugh. Beat the rice to death. I don't know. I'm not a rice doctor. Is there any catchphrases you guys have, like, just randomly develop? Like, I have, like multiple, like, I'm not like a I'm not a blank doctor, or they needed a spotter. Like, those are my two catchphrases I can think of right now. I'm sure there's another one, but I can't remember. It's just something I randomly say, Luckily, the victim's will was supposedly read earlier today, and it's now part of the public record. What were the results of the will reading, Mr. Cuthbert? William Fergus was planning to leave all his assets to J.M. Fonseca's, his hopeful son-in-law. However, this was predicted on the condition that J.M. marries the victim's daughter, Leif, and it's clear that Miss Leif will never follow through on this engagement. If the engagement is not made in 6 months, William Fergus' assets would be divided among his 3 daughters. I see. So there's no mention of the defendant's disinheritance. Correct, Your Honor. This means that the defendants did have something to gain from the victim's death. Your Honor, despite the confusion around the victim's inheritance, there's very little physical evidence that implicates my client. May I remind you that Miriam Frege was not telling the truth in yesterday's proceeding? That itself is extremely suspect. And William Frege was clearly not above manipulation and lying. What about you, though? Huh? You can't prove that she knowingly gave false testimony. I'll admit that I can't prove that. I'll also admit there's also a lack of apparent physical evidence to substantiate our case. Which is why the prosecution would like to call Harold Harrison to the stand. Lord Harrison? The sword of spell eating clearly plays a large role in the murder, and its death is one of the few pieces of physical evidence in this case. Also, this is my obligation to just advertise one of my friends. Check out Victoria next week for like cool indie animation stuff. I don't have any at the moment. Like, yeah, I have some animation, but this is this silly stuff at the moment. But he actually has some actual stuff going on. Anyways, let's beat the rice. As the gallery curator, I believe he can further elaborate on how the sword was stolen that night. More specifically, you can find out about what he did on the night of the murder. I see. Well, the court would definitely benefit from his insight. Bellev, please escort Lord Harrelson to the stand. Yeah, reading so much is kind of hard to just read aloud. Like, it's easy on my mind, but then like my brain doesn't really link up to my mouth. Witness. Damn it, Tyrion. Witness, please state. And I've just proven my own point right away. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Of course. My name is Howard Harrison. I am the owner and curator of the Housen Hall of History, located in Home Hereth. I'm sure I said that correctly, okay? That is quite the relative occupation. Harold, could you please testify to the court about how you discovered that the sword of spelling was stolen? If it will help. I was keeping an eye on my gallery's exhibit. Oh yeah, like, I forgot to mention, yeah, this is huge spoilers. If you don't know, it feels like you're smack dab into the fourth case, which has a lot of spoilers for previous cases as well. I think. I don't know. You just know that okay, spoiler alerts. The three defendants you're defending in the first three cases are completely innocent. That's a spoiler. I mean, this is like an Ace Attorney like game, so you know. Anyways, I was keeping an eye on my gallery's exhibit when I realized that my familiar hadn't returned. I called to him telepathically, but he didn't respond. I became worried, so I went around the manor to search for him. About an hour later, I returned to the gallery and discovered that the exhibit that held the sword of spelling was completely destroyed. The artifact was missing, so I reported the crime to the knights at the ball, and they activated a discreet lockdown. Luckily, we found the sword and my familiar later that night. So you went to search for your monkey, and that's why you didn't witness the theft? Yes, the thief was probably waiting for me to leave. They must have wanted to commit the crime without anyone seeing them. Oh, his testimony is completely full of it. His search for Jane must have been a cover that he's using to hide his action that night. So how do you prove that? Is it actually him? Like, yeah, he's suspicious, but... Anyway, let's just press him. I like pressing people until they confess. That's the staple of Ace Attorney. Getting them to confess for the crime. Be like Moss Edgeworth in that one case, telling that woman to kill herself. Like, that actually happened. Are you referring to Eugene? Eugene? Eugene Housen, Your Honor, is the name of the victim's familiar. Yes, Eugene is a spry orangutan monkey. He helps me with my day-to-day. I see. Anyways, you say that he hadn't returned. Does it mean he left you early in the night? Yes, he always liked to explore large buildings like Fergus Manor. But he usually doesn't leave for that long. I called him telepathically, but he didn't respond. Does he typically annoy you like that? Sometimes. He's a young boy, so he likes to have his privacy. I tried not to pry, but I was worried of what would happen if a noble or knight came across him. He usually knows not to bother people, but you never know what might happen. You left the gallery room? Yes, as I said, I was worried that something had happened to Eugene. Where did you go during your search? Eugene usually knows how to stay out of people's bedroom, so I went downstairs and searched for him there. I checked the bathroom, sitting room, and coat room. Then I finally searched the kitchen and pantry. He might have gone there to steal some snacks. But you didn't find him in any of those places? No, I didn't. If I recall correctly, the glass was completely shattered. This is despite the presence of several obstruction spells that protected it. Yes, it would have taken an extremely powerful spell to break it like that. As you saw, the glass display was shattered into shards. Unless Howard had a way to dispel that magic, a powerful mage must have destroyed it. Perhaps Howard had Beatrice shatter the glass before she went into the ballroom. The sword of spelling makes it immune to the sword of spelling makes its user immune to magical effects. What use would the lockdown have been? Honestly, not much. The user would have been immune to the anti-magic fields and the spells that have prevented people from leaving. But at that point, the King's Guard just wanted to activate it for good measure. Luckily, we found the sign. The statement just now was missing some details. What details should you ask him to elaborate on? How did you find Eugene? How did you eventually find Eugene that night? After an hour of silence, he finally responded to my telepathic message. He met up with me in the gallery before we went to search for the sword. So this would have been after the theft was reported. Yes. We would have to pick up Eugene after he murdered Lord Frigga. This must be the alibi they used to account that no one could see Eugene. Anyways, these details could be extremely important. Please add it to your testimony, witness. Harold. Yes, of course, Harold. He says that he went around the manor looking for Eugene. Do you think he's telling the truth? Maybe, but his so-called search for Eugene gave him a good excuse to not be seen by anyone. It's a decent alibi, if not without its flaws. You just need to poke some holes in that alibi. Let's go back to this one. Let's see what he says about the sword. How did you eventually find the sword spelling? The King's Guardian and I so checked each room in the manor. After about an hour, we found the artifact out under the bed in the defender's room. That must be where Tracker hides the stick that he finds. Now that you mention it, he's probably the one who stole Celeste's sword in the first place. Anyways, this detail could be extremely important. Please add it to your testimony, witness. Harold. Yes, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, it's definitely gotta be the Eugene part. There's nothing suspicious about that. But let's just do the thing again. And objection! Nope, I was wrong. Back. Objection! Okay, yeah, I'm not smart at these, okay? Especially since like I don't have a live system, so I'm not thinking as critically, to be honest. Yeah, like I'm just extremely cautious in Ace Attorney, but in here I'm just kind of just like, fuck it, we're bowling, yeah. Also, Victoria XD, if you're watching this release episode, okay, I mean you are technically releasing it in a few days' time, whatever. It's you. Right. Alright, probably respond to my... Wait, before they find... Hold on. Hold on, hold on. Hold on. Where is it? Where is it? Lockdown system. Objection! Harold, you found Eugene before you went to search for the sword spelling. Just would mean this happened while the lockdown was still active, am I correct? Yes, as much as I was worried about the artifact, Eugene's safety was far more important. Okay, yeah, he's definitely just red herring. Surely, right? That's the thing, Harold. You said that after an hour of silence, you finally received a telepathic message back from Eugene. What? So that leaves one question. How did you communicate with Eugene telepathically if you were both within an anti-magic field? What? Harold, in response to the theft, the King's Guard activated the lockdown system to prevent anyone from leaving. That same lockdown system would have placed an anti-magic field over every inch of that manor. That field should have suppressed the telepathic abilities given to you by a familiar bond. You wouldn't have been able to speak with Eugene at all. Mr. Cuthbert, Are you accusing the witness of lying in his testimony? Please, Jabert. Please. Jabert is blowing this entire thing out of proportion. Anti-magic field is a resource-intensive spell. We can't assume they managed to cover every inch of the manor, especially the areas that would only be accessible to a small animal. Mr. Mora, let's assume that Eugene managed to reach some sort of blind spot in the lockdown system. The magical telepathy granted by familiar bond connects two people. Even if Eugene wasn't affected by anti-magic, Harold would be. That's very true. How did I hear him that night? There's only one answer that makes sense, Harold. You did hear Eugene telepathically, because Eugene was wielding the sword of spell eating. What? I'm sorry, Mr. Jabert. Are you saying that the sword of spell eating was stolen by the witness's pet monkey? I am, Your Honor. It's the only way the witness's testimony makes sense. She doesn't seem to have a rebuttal. She pushed his while you still have a chance. Howard Harrison, you were the one who stole the sword of spell eating, weren't you? And what reason would I have to steal something that already belongs to me? It was to take suspicion of you because you were the one who had... Wait. Okay, I need a moment because I just remembered. How is this gonna go? Like remember, where did the prosecutor this time, right? That's why Ruby's becoming silent. It's like, right, Mr. Jabert, you are the prosecutor this time. You're supposed to be going after the defendant. To be fair, you know, I get like why he's thinking it, but he's kind of putting himself on the spot, you know. Why would you do this? Okay, maybe. Okay, I'm just gonna try to think ahead of him. He's probably like, okay, no, that's just thinking too much. The protagonists for these games are like a little dumb. Aside from like, no, not even Phoenix in the fourth game, because he's not really the protagonist at all. For the most of the game, anyways. But okay, best case scenario, he does exact. Well, maybe he doesn't plan it out, but I bet he's gonna like try to put Ruby on the spot with, you know, with the whole like, well, you can confess to, you know, the whole thing, you know, accomplish. Okay, I don't know. And just balling it does despite all the theories. Experiencing the story is much more different than writing the stories, alright? I can write stories really well, but experiencing them are different, okay? They feel very different. That's why it's so, you know, like games like these are very fun. Like they can be ballsy, but you know, in a fun way. Anyways, I should probably continue. Anyways, I had to just do something real quick. It was to use data robbery as or you could well done, Mr. Yeah, right. Well done, Jabert. I suppose you can't just stop yourself from pursuing a lying witness. It's what I do best, Mr. Mora. Oh, of course. Witness, do you have anything to say in your defense? It's quite obvious, but I completely refute that, Percy. But I completely refute that the prosecution's allegations. Huh. Okay, that wasn't what I was expecting. Huh. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. He's definitely taking the fall. Right. Okay. I see. I guess that's what's happening. He's misguided, but he's just doing his job. You're expecting his thoughts to be hostile like before. Then, do you also refute the statement about Eugene telepathically speaking with you? I know better than to lie on the stand to try to save myself. I can't explain how it happened, but I stand behind my testimony. Eugene did telepathically contact me during the lockdown. How did he do it? Well, wait, so he doesn't know how that telepathically communication happened? Perhaps he overlooked it when he was planning the murder with Beatrice? And that's your position? It may sound ridiculous, but it's the only thing that makes sense. Or do you have... Yeah, he definitely forgot. Shubba has lost the plot. Hold on, wasn't I supposed to be the prosecution? Oh shit. No, I feel fully. Oh, fuck, look at that. I'll smoke it. How do I hide the thing again? Oh, hold on. Just look at this fucking asshole smug. Oh, wait. Tyrion. Mr. Bird, did you forget that you were prosecuting Beatrice Frigga? Even as a prosecutor, it's clear that Chabert can't stop himself from finding the true culprit. Wait, I also meant to say that the defendant conspired with the witness to commit the crime. Oh, really? And you have proof of this conspiracy to commit? Of course you don't. But even so. But let's assume you did have evidence to prove your statement. Is this really a plot formed by my client and the witness? What would my client even contribute to this plan? From what you said, this plot was completely carried out by Lord Haraldson and his familia. The glass, he would need a powerful mage like the defendant to break the sword's display case and stage the robbery. So her contribution to the murder was breaking some glass. Can you prove that my client shattered the display glass? And can you prove that she did so knowing that it would somehow lead to her father's death? You might have got a little too eager to prove Harold's guilt. The physical evidence against my client was almost non-existent in the first place. Okay, yeah, this guy's a little dumb. You know, I don't mind that. I feel like I just saw it coming, but I should have suspected. Like I knew, like, but I should have had a feeling that he was gonna just completely fuck it up. Like forget about the fact that he's the prosecutor for this case. Meanwhile, it seems that the prosecutor has brought forward physical evidence that implicates Lord Haraldson. Physical evidence that is supported by his own testimony. There has to be some explanation for this. Chabert, didn't you ask me something yesterday? If my client didn't kill the client, then who did? I suppose I should thank you for finding the answer. Damn it. What you did was make it more difficult to prove your case. But Harold has to be involved in this. You weren't wrong about that. Only Eugene would be small enough to traverse the evidence. So, isn't there anything else you can use? With the threat of indictment, Harold must be stressed. He's gotten you out of tight spots before. Maybe you can find evidence in his mind. You can use every trick you have, Chabert. It won't help you. Ignore her. Calming mind. Focus on the eyes of horrors on him. You have to find something, anything, that might tie the murder to Beatrice. Naught can remain concealed. Wow, okay. That's interesting. Because she knows about the eyes of horrors, like, only she knows. But she's like, yeah, before she's like, wait, no, don't, that! But now she's like, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. Okay, what's his thoughts on us? It appears the boy thinks that I was involved in this. Although, given what he said, I can't blame him for thinking that. I truly wonder about what happened, though. What? He's speaking as if he had no hands in this? But that can't be true, can it? Eugene, just what were you doing that night? Did you really yield the sword, if only for a brief moment? Wait, should have known exactly where Eugene was that night. Why would his thoughts say that? I can't believe that one of my artifacts was used to commit a murder. It's criminally disrespectful to their culture and history behind it. What? You're speaking as if you had no hand. Okay. Oh! Which one is it? The armband of intelligence still missing. Oh wait, whoops. But I inspected it closely before the Lord's Ball. They were still there when I moved them to the Fergus Manor. Someone must have stolen it during the ball. Right, you never did find out what happened to the armbands. Could there seriously be the second thief there? At least the earrings of vitality were left untouched. It's one of the few artifacts left that's imbued with the Scales Lord's powers. Surely it's a shame that Beatrice was driven to flee from her own family. If only I introduced myself to her, perhaps we could have found a solution together. He doesn't know Beatrice? But how? She planned the murder with him! Unless... What? What's going on? Speaking as if he had no hand in this. You can gut yourself from the high of hearts, but you can't lie from it. No, wait, hold on. Lie to it. If that's true, were you wrong about Harold's involvement? Is he really innocent? See anything, Jabert? Your Honor, it's clear that the prosecution had nothing left to argue. There's very little evidence implicating my client, and there's a far more likely suspect in front of us right now. Yes, I must agree, Mr. Mora. At the very least, I see no reason to prolong this trial any longer. Wait. Beatrice couldn't have personally done this. Counting the fact that she's completely blind, she was with the two princes for most of the nights. So who actually killed William Fergus in his study? Okay, it's definitely Ruby. It's gotta be. Think about this. The reason why you suspected Harold in the first place was because of what Tracker said. Tracker vocality is read to describe small creatures that hide insects suspiciously. Even if it's an actual rat, it's still gonna be a human. You're right, you have to be a small animal. Small animal within air vents holding a sword. Tracker definitely did see some kind of animals. Was this someone else's familiar? Oh wait, okay. Okay, hold on. Why? Did Eugene happen to be in that hallway? That doesn't explain why the spelling was even there. No, Tracker said that Eugene came out of the vent from one side of the hallway, then he fled to the other side. Even for a small monkey, those vents would have been extremely cramped. Right. I feel like a dumbass. Okay, you know, I can see why they made him that dumb, at least. So I feel at least 2% smarter. But I'm still dumb. I feel like this, you can probably, are people gonna, in the future, are people gonna just find this and see just how dumb I am? Well, to be fair, I think most people are much dumber somehow. He wouldn't have entered those vents out of mere curiosity. Why was Eugene in the air vents? You now know that Harold didn't participate in the murder. But did he know about what Eugene was doing that night? Eugene was acting on his own free will. That's the explanation that makes the most sense. But how? And why? How is the only person that is magically connected to Eugene? And even if Beatrice somehow got Eugene to follow her orders, she wouldn't have been able to direct his actions telepathically. Beatrice couldn't use any other conjunction spell to contact him either. She's also in the anti-magic field when she was with Esther. So if Eugene was the one who murdered William Fergus, was he acting independently? No, that can't be possible. The plan... The armband? The plan requires required knowledge of Frega's Manor's ventilation system. It also involved murdering William during the lockdown and destroying his will. Eugene might be smart for a monkey, but a normal monkey wouldn't have known how to identify and destroy William's will. Even if Beatrice is... It's the bloody monkey! What?! It is the monkey! Even if Beatrice had somehow trained him to do this all beforehand. No, it couldn't be. I discovered that the armbands of intelligence had been stolen as well. And unlike the Solar's building, we haven't found the armband. You look at the glass, it appears to be... It's even inside the glass. Exactly. Moreover, the armbands were actually replaced with a very well made replica. The magical locks on this case can be disabled. How are they normally disabled? They can be turned on and off using a spoken password. How many people know this password? Only myself. I personally oversee the only Harold knows the password, but someone could have easily overheard him saying it. Someone that's constantly looking over his shoulder. You made some ridiculous statements in the past, but there's no way the judge will even entertain this theory. You have to be smart about this. Your Honor, I think there's one more witness that can clear up this discrepancy once and for all. I believe he can prove the prosecution case to the court. Really? I frankly find that hard to believe. Please, trust me, Your Honor. There's an element to this that we are all unseeing. And it's one that no one will believe. What do you have planned now? Very well, I'll give you one last chance, Mr. Cuthbert. But know that if your next witness fails to reveal any new information, I won't hesitate to end this trial. I understand, Your Honor. So I'm going to need you to bear with me for a moment. Why? Your Honor, the prosecutor calls Eugene Harrelson to the stand. Never mind. I retract my earlier statements. I'll be passing my verdicts. Wait, just bear me with a moment. Mr. I shall find you in contempt for... I should find you in contempt for even suggesting this. Do you honestly think I'll allow a monkey to give testimony in my courtroom? Yeah, it sounds pretty out there, even for us. I'd like to remind the court of the nature of Harold's bond with Eugene. Eugene is a familiar. That means that Harrelson can speak with him telepathically. But this is absurd. Absolutely. Show me the law that says animals can't give testimony, Your Honor. It may be unprecedented, but it's not against the law. Very well. Your Honor, you can't be serious right now. Are you actually going along with this? Oh, Mr. Mora, I am looking for any possibility not to entertain this. But Mr. Cuthbert has a point. There's no law against his proposal. So, I have no choice but to oblige his frankly insane actions for now. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. It's not as if this will reveal anything. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Belleff, please escort Lord Harrelson's monkey to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation in the court. I could do without the sarcasm, Mr. Mora. Eugene monkey! Belleff, please make sure the stenographer gets Harrelson's translations. You can't see the armbands on him right now. He must be at his normal intelligence right now. Although, how would he even wear them? Perhaps he held them in his hands? They only require physical contact after all. Eugene. Did you steal from Eugene? Fuck. From the gallery on the of the murder? Eugene never steal from Harrison! Eugene expects no! Then you have no problem testifying about where you went during the Lord's ball. I can't believe you let me convince me to permit this. Oh! Eugene explores! Okay. Look, you just have to trust me on this. I trust you? That sense, it sounds like it turned into a question at the end. Okay, interpret. Okay, that actually makes things more interesting. Alright. Oh. Okay, hold on. But Harrod's associate of House Frega. Surely you had visited Frega Manor before that night. Manor constantly change. William will always explore and always doing renovations. There's always a new discovery to be made. You suppose that makes sense? William certainly had the goal for it. Anyways, what else did you do that night, Eugene? Did you enjoy eating spiders? Spiders good. Spiders rich in nutrition. Wait, really? Some cultures in the Eastern Kingdom eat. Why is he angry? I tried them. They're actually not bad if they're prepared correctly. I don't think I could ever be that adventurous. Can we please stay on topic? I wasn't accusing you of anything, Eugene. Perhaps you accidentally unlocked the case and took them thinking there was some sort of toy? This could all be an honest mistake. Eugene not dum-dum! Eugene knows how important artifacts are to Harold. Eugene never takes from him. You might not knowingly done it, but perhaps you took one of the artifacts by accident? Eugene never do that? Then how did you explain your brief contact with the Sword of Spell Eating? Harold couldn't have telepathically contacted you unless you were the one, unless one of you was yielding it. Eugene doesn't understand question. Right, you won't understand how the sword works without his heightened intelligence, unless... You can see the close. Oh, that's so they literally have a magical connection with each other. Right. I suppose the bond between a marriage and is familiar would require a lot of trust. Harold saves Jean from bad men very many many years ago. Eugene would never betray, so you're a rescue. Bad men lock Eugene in cage. He tells people to throw peanuts at Eugene. Harold takes Eugene away from that prison, locks up bad men. He seems to genuinely care about Harold. Could that be why he did this? He was indebted to him. That might have been his motive. Tyrion, I know it looks bad. I swear there's more to this than what meets the eye. If you say so, there has to be something in his test statement. I guess this is where the interpret comes in. Okay, that's it. I thought there was gonna be more to it. Wait a minute. Eugene, I asked you before if you stolen anything from Harold's gallery. Eugene, no, you have never steal from Harold. Cuthbert, don't waste our time by having him repeat that statement. That's the thing, Mr. Mora. That's not the same statement he made in his testimony. I asked the witness if he stole an artifact from the gallery. I never mentioned the armband of intellects. Ooh! What are you talking about now? The witness lacked the understanding to differentiate between the artifacts. It was clearly just a simple mistake. It's not just the fact that he named the wrong artifact, Mr. Mora, it's the fact that he used its actual name. I'm afraid I don't understand what you mean, Mr. Cuthbert. Your Honor, animals can't speak the same way that humans do. Even when a telepathic link is established, the vocabulary is extremely limited. Right, Tracker called the sword of spell eating a stick before. It was hard to understand what he really meant. Exactly, so that raises the question, how did Eugene know they were called the armbands of intellect? Wait, how did he know? The armbands were stolen during the Lord's Ball and replaced with a well-made replica. If he had worn the armbands when he was sneaking through the vents, he would have never had the opportunity to put them back. And the armbands are still missing. Has to be the armband, right? From the gallery. It can't be. Is he really? The armbands were designed to be worn by humans, so Eugene can't wear them on his arms. So where do you wear them? You initially thought that he carried them in his hands, but there's a far simpler explanation. Eugene, do you still maintain that you didn't steal the armbands of intellects? Eugene, I told you already! Eugene never stole from a herald! Then I suppose you wouldn't mind taking off your hat? Are you serious right now? You don't think he's wearing them right now, do you? It's the only thing that makes sense. The armbands were taken on the night of the murder, and they are still missing. If Eugene did indeed steal the armband that night, he would have never had the opportunity to return them. He had no choice but to continue wearing them until the investigation was over. This is absurdly ridiculous. You're spinning a fairy tale. You only expect us to believe that a monkey increased its intelligence beyond humans' limits? If I'm wrong, the witness can easily refute my theory by removing his hat. Well, what's it gonna be, Eugene? You see him fully breaking character, and he slowly lifts his hat. No, you can't be serious. Everyone can see it plainly. He's wearing the armband like a crown around his tiny head. From out of his hat, you see him pull something else out. Something else. Wait. Something else. Well done, Mr. Chabert. I shouldn't have underestimated you. Yeah! Arr! You serious? This is probably a blessing in disguise. I don't think I could bear disgracing myself any longer.
Objection!
Objection, Your Honor! On what ground, Miss Tamora? On what ground? Everything about this situation is objectionable! It's downright absurd! Is he seriously Beatrice's accomplice? Are you serious? This is the she didn't. But Mr. Mora, we can't deny what's clearly in front of us. I was not ready for today. How is he even talking right now? Scholars believe that humans and apes evolved from a common ancestor. Perhaps all apes can speak the common language under the right circumstances? Evolved? Please, I observe your society. I think calling humanity evolve is being quite generous. This can't be happening. Well, are you all down glocking at me like a bunch of simpletons? Simpletons? Wait a minute. It's quite difficult to separate myths from actual historical accounts. Right. I remember encountering a similar problem at the Imperial Academy. Oh, you must be dedicated to your studies. Rude, but you suppose that can't be helped? Every insulting thought that you've seen from Harold, they weren't Harold's thoughts at all. They were Eugene's thought. He has been wearing the armband since you first met. But I still don't understand. Why would you even take the armbands in the first place? I'll admit that the Lord's Fall was one of many occasions. The first time I touched them was due to sheer chance. You put them on by accident? My unawakened self was enamored by its glittering sheen. I really wanted to touch them, but when I first held them in my hands, I experienced a sense of clarity I never felt before. I was afraid of what I experienced, so I left them alone. As I returned to my primitive lifestyle, I couldn't stop thinking about what I felt that day. You were hooked. I wouldn't quite phrase it like that, but I suppose you're not wrong. I already knew the password to Harrod's vault, so I've come in from time to time and indulge in the... Something fell. Anyways, I'll come in from time to time and indulge in the armband's power. I should have seen something like this coming. I don't know why. I know the monkey was suspicious, but didn't think it's just the monkey. Uh, Chef's stupid. Yeah, okay, I probably. I'm trying to think really if there was a point where I just suspect the monkey itself. Probably did actually, but I just forget. Just like, yeah, it's just a little too ridiculous. I forget this is an Ace Attorney like game. Of course, the monkey was gonna be like the main suspect, especially with a game with magic as well combined with that. I didn't. I should have suspected this. Okay, yeah, this might be something I should consider for my big murder mystery game, my own murder mystery game. This is gonna mean that would be interesting to write eventually. You know what? Props to them for surprising me this way still. Even if, like, even when I do suspect it, I just didn't see it coming. But the more I spent with my awakened intellect, the more I crave its power when I had to put them away. And that's when you make the replica. While no one was watching, I devised a plan to discreetly take the armbands. Harold would have discovered that they were stolen, but he would have concluded that a noble from the Lord Balls took them, because of the pressure that he was receiving from the crown. I'm not proud of what I've done, but I never expected things to reach this point. But I didn't expect anyone to steal the sword of spell eating as well. And I certainly didn't expect a murder to happen that night. So you still maintain that you're innocent? Of course I do. I saw the armbands, but I did not murder willing figures, nor did I take the sword of spell eating. Allow me to elaborate. Okay, I'm just gonna take a quick piss real quick. 5 people? Anyways, yeah, I'll take a quick piss real quick and then I'll just continue. Alright, and I'm back. Sorry for taking a while. Alright, allow me to elaborate. I'll admit that I took the armbands and replaced them with a replica, but I was not the crook who stole the sword of spell eating. The theft was completely different from one another. The display case for the sword was completely shattered. I spotted the sword when I was exploring the manor. It was lying in the middle of a hallway. I wondered why such an important artifact would be lying there, but took a closer look to inspect it. That's when I heard Harold calling me out to me telepathically. The sword must have protected me and Harold from the anti-magic field. I wanted to take the sword and return it, but a wild dog chased me away from the scene. He has a point. He didn't need to shatter the display case of the sword. Yeah, he already knew the passwords. The tracker said that Eugene was the one who dropped the sword. Furthermore, he escaped into the events that led into William's study. His actions that night were definitely not as innocent as his testimony implies. He must have lied somewhere. This is an insane case. You stole the armband by using Harold's spoken password, am I correct? Yes, I still showed him most of the time. You obviously never suspected what I would do, so it was a simple matter of listening to him when he transported the artifacts to Friggate's Manor. Can I assume that you knew the password for the other displays as well? I do, and I can easily demonstrate it. You doubt that he would lie about that when you can easily check it. Even so, you already lied about not stealing the armbands. Why should we believe you now? The answer to that lies in the physical evidence. I mean, he can't really. How do we know that he didn't shatter the glass to cover your tracks? Harold Password would have disengaged the lock, but he wouldn't be disabled the magic that protected the glass. Harold told you himself, didn't he? Only a powerful mage could have shattered the reinforced glass. But as a familiar, magic can be cast through you. Only Harold can cast magic through me. I can't cast spells by myself. And even though I could, Harold's spell continuum doesn't have a spell that's powerful enough for that. His logic is sound, but what if he's saying is true? But what if what he's saying is true? Who shattered the glass? Anyways. But that location was near the Fragger's bedroom. Don't tell me that you... What do you take me for? I know what a bedroom looks like. I never enter one uninvited. And why were you there in the first place? I was coming back from the rooftop garden. But I suddenly felt something interfering with the armband's magic. The anti-magic fields. Yes, I was worried that something might have happened, so I made my way back to the gallery to meet up with Harold. I see. Can you add this to your testimony? Very well. And that's when you made the contact with it? Yes, I was quite surprised too. At the time, the magic of the armbands was being nullified. But when I picked up the sword, my intelligence finally returned. Oh, okay. That's how I knew that I was holding this sort of spell eating. Was this the first time he tried to contact you this night? No, he had telepathically messaged me earlier that night, but I was absorbed in my exploration that I ignored him. He was absorbed in his exploration? Was that really cause him to ignore a call from Harold? Didn't you have enough time to grab the sword? You were holding it after all. I'm not proud to admit it, but my survival instinct took over. At that point, I was more concerned about escaping that wild animal. You suppose that makes sense? Tracker is several times larger than him. He had every reason to be afraid. His stories make sense. There's no way he could have shattered the glass. I suppose so. Tracker saw him that night. He was definitely traversing the vents in that hallway. Which means he lied somewhere in his testimony. Alright. Has to be the third one, right? Third statement. Ah, I knew it! I knew it! I'm smart! Yeah! Eugene, I'm sure you're aware of this, but the best way to lie is to hide a false detail within many truths. And what are you trying to insinuate, Mr. Cuthbert? You said that you were heading from the terrace to the gallery. Did you take any detours? Of course not. With the armband nullified, my intelligence was slowly fading. I wanted to return to Harold as soon as possible. Witness, I'd like for you to take a look at this floor map of Frigga Manor. This is the location where that wild dog found the sword of spell eating. So tell me, Eugene, how did you spot the sword of spell eating when it was hidden in the hallway north of Beatrice's room? That's... Why are you nitpicking such an insignificant statement? You probably just got distracted and went down the wrong hallway. Mr. Warren, Eugene came from the rooftop garden. It was evident that he went directly to the gallery to reunite with Harold. Even if his intelligence was muddled, he was intent on reuniting with his boy companion. He definitely took the direct route, but if he did, he would never have been able to see into that hallway. I see your point, Mr. Cuthbert. What does this mean? It means that this lie about where he was before he discovered the sword of spelling. He wasn't coming from the rooftop garden. He came from the air vents in that specific hallway. So why were you in that hallway, Eugene? You lied in your testimony. Was it because you wanted to hide what you were really doing that night? Admit it, Eugene. You snuck through the air vents to avoid detection. Then used the air vents in that hallway to break into William's study. After that, you murdered him with his letter opener, didn't you? That's not what I went there to do. No, I didn't mean... Order! Order in the court! Witness, is this true? Did you break into William Frigga's study during the lockdown? Yes, I did enter his study, but not for the reason you think. William Frigga was already dead when I got there. What? What did you just say? It's true! You honestly expect us to believe a story like that? How could someone else have killed the victim before you got there? Tracker took the sword of spelling, and you're the only intelligent creature that could walk through the air vents. I understand how unbelievable and suspicious it sounds. Why do you think I lied in the first place? But it's the truth, Mr. Cuthbert. You have to believe me. You don't see any contradicting thoughts through the eyes, but that hardly absolves him of guilt. Could you really be telling the truth? If that's true, that only brings you back to the one question you've been asking since this all began. Who really did this? Okay, Eugene, let's assume you're telling the truth. Do you actually believe me? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. You're still my only suspect for this. I know better than anyone about jumping to conclusions. Yeah, right. Anyways, so I'll give you the benefit of the doubt for now. I see. However, if you want to absolve yourself, I need you to tell me what you really saw that night. There might be something, anything that might point to who really did this. Very well. I'll tell you what I saw. Though I doubt you'll believe me. Okay, so with that thought, Ruby knows about her being an accomplice, but not like who the accomplice is. I mean, you know, like the person who actually murdered. I discreetly made my way to that hallway through another air vent. I exited the air vents in that hallway and tried to leap to the other side. I'm not sure if it was my warning intelligence or desperation, but I collided with something I didn't see. I fell to the ground and found this sword of spelling lying next to me. I wanted to retrieve the sword, but the wild dog forced me to retreat. After that, I continued. Okay. My way to the study. Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense, actually. Yeah, this game keeps throwing me through loops. And that's when I found William Frigga. He was dead on the floor and lying in a pool of blood. If I were blessed by the Skill Lord himself, I found the will that he was drafting, so I destroyed it. What? Frankly, Mr. Harrelson, I find that story very difficult to believe. I assume as much, but you know what they say. Truth is stranger than fiction. Isn't it more likely that you murdered the victim? You're clearly trying to cover up what you did by saying that he was already dead. Honestly, I really don't know what to think. Is he really telling the truth? Why were you there in the first place? It all began when William Frigga got in an argument with Harold. That Kerr wanted to refund the prestigious Haraldson Hall of History. I knew a man like William probably had many secrets, so I devised a plan to break into his study and find something that I could use to blackmail him. As you know, there's a small air vent in that hallway, and it connects to William's study on the ground floor. I wasn't aware that William was planning to stay in his study all night, so I thought I could look through his documents without anyone seeing me. I suppose that makes sense, does make sense. But is he really telling the truth? But what really happened when you tried to leap to the other air vents, Eugene? I thought Monkey was extremely dexterous. Oh, are you just clumsy? I am impeccable in dexterity! It sounds like you struck a nerve there. I must have been muddled from losing the armband's magic. How do you know it was the sword of spell ending? When I held it in my hands, I felt my intelligence return. I also heard Harold calling out to me telepathically. He was clearly growing worried, so I knew I had needed to move quickly. He did. Are you acquainted with him? Something like that. Well, next time you meet him, tell him that I don't appreciate being called a rat. I am a proud orangutan. You can understand him. I picked up a few of the canine language throughout my life. I'm also fluent in squirrel and pigeon. I can also speak owl, but I'll admit it's barely conversational. As much as you want to test the validity of these claims, they are not relevant to the case. What happened when you entered the study? It seems awfully convenient that he was murdered before you arrived. I know how it seems, but I'm telling you the truth. And do you have an explanation for how the assailant broke into the site without the sword? I unfortunately do not. Please, it's obvious your testimony doesn't match up with the evidence. Well, how did they break? Like, the lock was broken, wasn't it? I think something like that was like what happened. Whoever did this entered through the vents, or they used the sword to nullify the lock. It probably had to be the second one, and your testimony only states that the sword was abandoned in that hallway. Okay, so the killer... Okay, hold on. Let's look at the map. Is it this one? No, wait, no, map 1, floor 1. So the study's here. Okay, no, yeah, okay, so someone used the sword, they killed William. They go upstairs and try to abandon it somewhere. Around here. And then the monkey goes through the vents, grab the thing, and then it gets bucked at by the dog. The monkey just... And the bloody monkey, Eugene, goes down the vents without the sword. Probably not even realizing, like, questioning why it's there at the time, because he didn't have his whole intelligence back. He probably collided with someone else, but he didn't get the intelligence or the you know, the awareness to understand what's happening to really notice everything. But does it really contradict the evidence you have? Anyways, what did you do when you discovered the body? I knew it was a matter of time before someone discovered the body. Actually, I quickly searched the room for something I could use. So you were the one who took the will. I've been trying to find it. What did it say? I was pressed for time, so I didn't read the entire document, but I found an order to his executor to refund the Harrison Hall of History. Since he went out his way to specify that on the current copy, I concluded that his former will didn't have this endium. So you could save Harold's museum by making sure it never got submitted for probate. Anyways, do you have the will with you? My apologies, I crumbled up the will into a ball and ate it. I then left the room before my intelligence was completely gone. Ugh. We were really hoping to see if William followed through on his threat to disinherit Beatrice. Oh, hard to believe, but you can't see any direct contradictions. Should you press him more? Or what if he's telling the truth? If Eugene really did do this, the next course of action is clear. But that doesn't strictly explain how Beatrice fits into this. You recall something that Tracker said to you. Tracker, you said you had to smell the sea. Wait, right, the mad... What? What is going on? Rain! And that's why you drop the stick and you'll finally able to see him. You can visually see him before he fell down. Yeah, the Tracker could see the rat with his eyes, so you just noticed to see it. Eugene was invisible! Eugene, when you were carrying out your plan, did you turn yourself invisible somehow? No, I hardly had the means to. And even if I had somehow convinced Harold to cast a spell, he doesn't know how to cast invisibility. Very few mages do. Right, you recall Ares saying the same thing during the Nightgrave trials. Only a master of illusion could do that. That's how you first thought Beatrice was involved, but if Eugene was truly innocent, she'd tell someone else invincible? No, someone else held the sword! But if that's true, you're right back where you started again. No, think through this. Eugene's testimony filled in a blank that's been missing. I fell to the ground and found the sword lying next to me. How do you know it was the sword of spell eating? Yes, when I held it, I felt my return. Also held telepathically, I was so I knew it quickly. I wanted to retrieve the sword, but the thing dropped in the air. And what happens when you cross-reference that with Tracker's testimony? That's why Tracker smells flying rat. Tracker could smell where Rat was, so Tracker bucketed him. Tracker must have scared Rat because he fell onto the floor and dropped his stick. The thief dropped the sword in that hallway, but how does that make sense? Did they hide this sword there, like you originally thought? No, that hallway was close to the gallery. There were better places to hide the sword. If it weren't for the tracker taking it, it would have been found even sooner. The thief might have accidentally dropped the sword there. It can only mean one thing. Okay, wait. No, the hallway leads towards the bath. You think of very little reason why the thief would be walking there. Alright, think. Oh crap. The thief was sneaky. What is the reason? Fuck. Breaking through. I'm sorry. I don't know, I'm not. I'm gonna just do this. This is gonna be stupid. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to rely on. Looking at the evidence again. Gallery's there. Ah. Oh no, I'm just trying everything. Eh. Okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. That's just for cowards. Okay, what's going on? Okay, I don't understand. I can't even go back and check like damn it, I feel it off the screen. Okay, what's I'm just trying everything. What? The thief was also sneaking through the evidence. Okay. That's the only reason why they would be there. That would imply that the thief was also as well as Eugene. Could that be another familiar? And if so, why didn't Eugene notice them? Wait. Not sure it was my warning intelligence or my desperation might collide with something I didn't see. It collided with something that he didn't see. In other words, it was something that wasn't visible to him. As a master of illusion magic, Richards is one of the few people at all that could cast invisibility. Even so, she's not the type of person who trusts her comments to stay quiet. She would find a way to carry out her plan herself, and she only could employ someone else's help if she had full control and fit with them. Have you been approaching the situation incorrectly the entire time? Through the eye, you knew that Beatrice was involved somehow, but you just assumed she was one part of a larger plot. The breaking of the glass and the cast of visibility, those were the elements you knew she was involved in, but it never really fit together. Not unless she was the one pulling the strings the entire time. There's only one way she could be in control the entire time. A pigeon? A cup of memory floods into your mind. Familiar as the creature that our mage has formed a magical bond with. With that bond, our souls are forever connected. I can speak with him telepathically, I can see through his eyes, and cast my spells through him if I wanted to. Really? I never knew a spell like that existed. It's quite rare. Very few mages take the time to learn how to cast it. Hi, I'm Tyrion Cuthbert. I'm Mr. Morris Wood. Extend out your hand to exchange hers. She has an acoustic air to her, it's not being too informal. Instead of taking your hand, she claps her hands together and takes a deep breath. What? Ah, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a bit of a habit of mine. Oh. Nevertheless, she finally shakes your hand. I heard much about you, Mr. Cuthbert. Huh. I forgot about that! You didn't know that she was blind back then, so you barely even noticed it. But how did she know that you were holding out your hand? Well, do you have any other questions for me? If you're wrong about this, Beatrice will surely be acquitted. But after that, the Inquisition will turn their attention to Harold and Eugene. There's only one way to know for sure. Your Honor, the prosecutor has no further questions for the current witness. He is dismissed. What? I see. You have something else planned, don't you? Yeah, and I actually need your help. Really? You tell about your plan. Really, I feel like you're making some big assumptions there. Wouldn't the questions check for something like that? I know. It's the best play we have. Do you remember what Stillman said yesterday? But the moment guards saw the body, one of them cast text magic. If that's failed, they would have been to see any invisible people hiding in this room. Wait, you can use a text magic like that? Of course, it's standard procedure. But like all spells, invisibility leaves traces on the person it casts on. Some mages can use detect magic as a way to see through invisibility. If everything goes the way I think it will, you'll be able to confirm its location. But to do that, you just need to reveal it to everyone. Right, I'll follow your lead then. So, Mr. Cuthbert, how do we proceed? Your previous witness has brought about more revelations than I could ever have guessed. However, you still haven't given a sufficient explanation of how the murder occurred or who actually did it. I understand, Your Honor, but it will all make sense after I call my next witness. Another witness? I understand your hesitance, Your Honor, but everything we learned throughout these trials is finally coming together. And this final witness will tie it all together in a perfect knot. Your Honor, the prosecution calls Beatrice Figure to the stand. Seriously, Cuthbert? You went through all that trouble just to end up calling my client to the stand. You and your client have the right to refuse, Mr. Morrow. But I wonder how that would reflect on your client's character. It doesn't really matter. She's already standing here with Mr. Morrow. You can carry out your plan regardless of what she decides to do. But it'll be much more impact if you can beat her into lying on the stand. My client said that she's willing to testify. However, we would like to propose a short recess. With this new development, I'm sure you can understand that we have much to discuss. I see no reason to grant See no reason to grant their defense request. Is this really okay? If we give them time to prep, they might realize what we're doing. I know, but I don't think we have anything to worry about. We've been building a psychological profile of Beatrice since this case began. Since it's hard to read her expression and emotions, even with the eyes of Horus, she keeps herself guarded and her true intentions unknown. She was powerful, more powerful than her father could ever care to admit. Despite this, he tried to control her and put her inside a cage. But Beatrice figure would never live in a cage. She wanted freedom and control. She would do whatever it took to get it. You showed that the accident that blinded her didn't help things. When everything was said and done, she abandoned everything, her wealth, her status, her family. She could have waited. She could have gritted her teeth until it was her turn to leave House Frigga. If she was willing, she could have secretly pushed her father past the gates of death herself, but she couldn't bear to live like that, even temporarily. You have no idea why this is how she chose to do this. Perhaps it had something to do with their meeting. But you do know one thing. Beatrice Frigga will never put herself in a position of vulnerability. If you endanger her freedom, she'll make sure she can see who she's up against. In the interest of giving the defense time to deliberate, we'll be taking an extended recess. Court is adjourned. As you were exiting the court room, you sent Celeste to do some reconciliations. Should be similar to when she scanned Ventina during the Nightgrave trial. Tyrion. Celeste, were you able to see it? Yeah, it's definitely there, and sits on her shoulder most of the time, so she keeps it close to her. That's good to know. It's kind of weird though. I've never used tech measure like this before. Well, you doubt someone like her would choose a conventional animal, especially for something like this. Tribert, Miss Tamora. There's something I need to show you, preferably alone. Celeste gives you a concerned look, but you nod to show her it's okay. She moves to sit on the bench where she can keep an eye on Beatrice. Okay, lead the way. Okay. Well, let's make use of this space, I guess. Miss Tamora leads you out of the courtroom and into the city. Every time you ask her where she's taking you, she avoids answering a question. Alright, we're here. You arrive at the empty alley in the frankly seedier parts of the city. As Miss Tamora approaches one of the derelict buildings, she's met with a large burly man who's guarding at the back door. The man silently acknowledges her and steps aside to let her in. Miss Tamora, where are we going? I'm sorry about this. I'm sure you're confused, but please trust me. I'll explain everything. Before you have a chance to ask for more information, she moves into the building. The man guarding the door looks at you expectantly. The entire situation doesn't sit right with you, but you still continue to follow her. Despite your recent disagreement, you know that you can trust her. As you head further into the building, you find yourself in a pretty surprisingly well-furnished room. When I looked outside, you would have never guessed it would look something like this. It was like a room you would encounter in a Frigga manor. As you enter the room, you spot several mercenaries standing at various points in the room. And most surprisingly, you see Eris standing at the end of the room. You give her a confused look, but she simply smiles and waves at you. Sitting at the desk next to her, you see a man with an eye patch. Looks like he's been expecting you. Ah, Tamora. Upon seeing you two, he cordially welcomes Miss Tamora before turning his attention to you. And you must be Tyrion. Tamora has told me a lot about you. I see, but who are you? I've been called many names over the years, but my favorite has been the Eye Taker. The Eye Taker? From the sounds of it, you have already heard of me. Miss Tamora, what is this? My daughter Eris has told me all about your work in prosecuting this case. She is his daughter? But I have to say, I'm quite impressed. Getting a monkey to testify? I don't think I could even pull off a grift like that. You're pretty much blown my expectation. Get to the point. As soon as you interrupt him, you feel every person in the room tense up. You need the eye to know that your interruption put them on edge. Relax, everyone. Kids will be kids. I'm a father myself, you know. Anyways, I'll get straight to the point. I have a sudden interest in the outcome of this trial. What are you talking about? Little Lady Frigga has been a client of ours for a long time. I've done a lot of favors for her, and the time has come for me to collect. Those stepdads still weren't mentioned. They all belong to me, but there's nothing you need to worry. I know she's good for it. That is, if she can inherit House Frigga. What? Tomorrow's a good attorney, even without my help. If she's convicted, we could easily reduce her sentence by rubbing the right hands. But you see, there's that pesky Slayer rule. The thing is, Shabert, I need Beatrice Frigga to be acquitted in the current trial. So, that's what this is about? House Frigga's gold? That's why you helped her murder William Frigga? Please, my goals aren't nearly as so short-sighted. I have big plans, not just for Beatrice, but for this entire kingdom. And I need House Frigga for that. Just like you needed Justin Way? Tyrion. Ah, Justin. It's a shame what happened to him. Don't act so innocent. He would have never tried to rob Dracogen if you didn't threaten him. Is that so? Do you think I just randomly showed up on his doorstep one day, demanding gold? He was the one who came to me for help. I just told him to pay back what he owed. If he hadn't come to me, it would have been some other criminal. But that's besides the point. Enough about what I wanted from Justin. Let's talk about what I wanted from you. You want me to throw the case? Ah, I love this kid. I don't have to beat around the bush with this one. No one will doubt you, especially considering the amount of work you put into this already. You don't need to do anything. Just take a dive. And let someone else take the fall. No matter what happens, the cult will blame someone for this. If it makes you better, I can decide tomorrow to defend the old man and his monkey. That way everyone can come out of this unharmed. Everyone wins. Except for the fact that a murderer will be put in charge of a House Frigga. Please, as if that's any worse than any of the people in charge of the other noble houses. If you recall, there's already a murderer in charge of Hall's fund sanctions. The old daddy, you've seen it, haven't you? They rig the system. They pay, threaten, or even kill people to get that way. All we're doing is leveling the playing field. Tyrion, please, just listen to him. How can you just go along with this? I told you a long time ago there were certain parts of the job that I couldn't tell you about. Well, this is it. This is what we need to do to beat them. Those rumors about you, they're all true, aren't they? Forgery, bribery, blackmail. You're guilty of each and every one of them. And you used him to do it. So you could keep winning. You back to Elmira, Miss Tomorrow. Oh, as if we show any pity for that spoiled princess. A dreadful thought just entered your mind. Still in. She was attacked that day that Beatrice was arrested. Was that... I didn't know that they were what they're planning. Despite my confidence in Tomorrow's skills, I'm afraid there was too much riding on this one to leave a chance. You gotta make your own luck if you want to beat the system. How could you? She almost died! We never expected her to strain her injuries like that. And we didn't expect you to take her place. So believe me when I say, I'm being uncharacteristically reasonable right now. How she even considers working with someone like him? Don't you think it's a little arrogant to judge her, Jabert? What? Talk about it defending me as if you two are even close to being equals. But she doesn't have the luxury into looking into people's mind, now does she? Told him about the Eye of Horus? The future of magic is changing, kid. Like I said before, I have big plans for this kingdom. And I also have big plans for you. You think I would ever... Tyrion, stop! To be honest, I hate it as much as you do. Whether you like it or not, we need that help. But this is... Think about every client you defended. Think of Celeste. If you didn't have the Eye of Horus, what would have happened to her? Even if one thing went differently, Pierce would have gone got away and Celeste would have been executed. You're taking chances and follow your instinct, and that's worked for you so far. But what if it's not enough? What if the system is too corrupt for you to fight against next time? With the Eye Taker's help, you'll never have to worry about that again. If I had accepted his help sooner, I could have saved your mother. So what's it gonna be, kid? You already know what happened to that Stillwind brat. So I don't need to tell you what will happen if you don't play ball. Wait. No. What? Maybe you're right. Maybe I can't always win the nobility unless I play dead like they do. But this is wrong. Tyrion! I'm not gonna compromise my principles, not even for you, Miss Tomorrow. I'm sorry to hear that, kid. I really am. With one motion of hands, every mercenary in the rooms draws their weapons. Please, you don't have to do this. Well, the conviction you had before is slowly fading. You shouldn't have entered this place. You knew something was off. There are about a dozen mercenaries here. There's even more guarding the way out. You're nowhere near as physically strong as Celeste. Or maybe you can make a break for it if you get lucky. No. Celeste? What the? How did you get in here? My whole job is keeping this guy safe. Do you honestly think I'll just let you take him to an undisclosed location? It doesn't matter, as if one girl would make a difference. Well, what are you waiting for? Is that really her? Upon seeing Celeste, the mercenaries cautiously step back. No one wants to make the first move. This monstrous aura, it has to be her. What the hell are you doing? You have her surrounded. Despite his command, no one takes a step forward. Look, let's all just sit down and talk about this rationally. Perhaps a different approach is warranted here, Father. What? Could I have the opportunity to speak with Mr. Cuthbert? I believe I can make him see things our way. I'm sorry, sweetie, but I can't... Well, you've never been wrong before. I'll leave them to you, love. Yep. Something's up with her. Shall we go, you two? Celeste watches Eris with her swords drawn. Unlike the mercenaries, Eris seems unmoved. She merely walks past her and out the exit. You and Celeste exchange glances and follow after her. That was close. Didn't think I could fight the whole room without while protecting you. Doesn't mean she could have fought them if she were alone. You two are really courageous to a fault, aren't you? Eris, I appreciate you vouching for us, but I'm not changing my mind about this. Oh, I'm well aware of that. Why do you think I intervene? Oh, well, thank you. Is this really okay? Why should Dad be mad? I should be asking Tyrion that same question. You've seen your adopted mother's true color and rejected them. How are you two gonna move forward? She's not mine. Is she though? She lost any right to deny it the moment she took it upon herself to raise you. She only did that because I asked her to. It wasn't her choice. Oh, but it was. How old were you when your real mother was executed? 10 years old? Eris! Back then, you barely knew Tamora. I'd be distressed to even call her a family friend. She was the adult in that situation, and what did she do? She fed your anger and hatred for the nobility instead of allowing you to process your grief healthily. Tomorrow took you away from your only friends and isolated you from society. She even homeschooled you, didn't she? As a result, you never formed any other relationships. You made your first close friend at the age of 20 and she was your client. Do you think that's a little sad? She isolated you because she wanted to use you. That's not true. That's not why she... From what I've seen today, you clearly have no idea who Tomorrow is. Even with the Eye of Horus, you're a terrible judge of character. Eris, you're going way too far. To save you from more heartache, let me give you one piece of advice. Eris leans in, close to you, and begins to whisper into your ears. You honestly think Celeste will ever love you? What? I'm sure you understand. Tomorrow can only pay her over whatever the word is, salary because of my father. You already burned that bridge. Where do you think Crimson Demon will go when you can't afford her service anymore? No, she's not. With Flynnheart dead, she has to worry about her mother. Do you think she has the luxury of playing around with you for free? Or do you think that she enjoys spending time with you? Tyron, you have to look at this rationally. Any support or affection she's giving you has only been to keep you as an employer. Seems to know a lot about these things. I had to do a lot of networking when I was a mercenary. Do you know how many times I had to charm a merchant into hiring me? Why are you doing this? Because I want to finally... Because I just want to keep you from getting hurt. It may seem cruel, but you have to be realistic about these things. You trusted Tamara and she betrayed you. Try not to make the same mistake twice. Celeste didn't hear anything she said, but she seems to know how it's affecting you. Eris, that's enough. Oh, my apologies. Having told that I've been too blunt sometimes. I do hope you'll think about what I said. Anyways, the trial should be starting soon. We should make our way back to the courthouse. I'm genuinely curious to see how this trial ends. Hey Tyron, are you okay? What did she say to you? She reaches for your hand but you instinctively yank it away from hers. Tyron? Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm okay, really. Okay. Is he mad at me? Think about everything else later. But for now, you know what you need to do. You need to convict Beatrice Frege. Court is now resumed for the trial of Beatrice Frege. Is the defendant prepared to take the stand? Tamora, I asked you a question. Is the defendant prepped or not? She is. If the prosecutor still wants to move forward with... The prosecutor will be moving forward with this. Please bring in the witness. You still see it, Celeste? Yeah, still there. Shall I reveal it now? No. Let's really make a point of it. Wait for my signal. Thank you for agreeing to take the stand, Miss Frege. Mr. Cuthbert, it's my understanding that you were with two princes for most of the nights. Yes, I was. Which is why I'm still quite confused as to why I'm being charged for this crime. Out of everyone there that night, I would have thought my ally was the most solid. Time remains to be seen. Clearly. Anyways, since you still maintain your innocence, you will have no problem going into your detail about your supposed alibi. This is probably the final testimony for this. As you know, I was with Crown Prince Esther and Prince Alabric for most of the ball. I went there after my meeting with my father, and I remained with them until I was arrested for his murder. Lord Stillwain and the King's Guard kept watching over me for the entire night as well. I neither had the means nor the opportunity to steal the sword of spell eating and break into my father's studies to murder him.
Objection!
Okay. And that, Miss Frege, is where you're mistaken. You definitely had the means to commit both crimes under the eye of everyone there that night. The most effective tool an attorney is revealing a contradiction in a witness's testimony. It's not only completely sharing your opponent's argument, it also makes the courts doubt whether the witness is acting in good faith. Usually you use evidence to reveal contradictions like this. Now, Celeste. Oberio! Hey, what are you doing? Your Honor, the witness testimony is clearly... Oh my god, what the hell is that thing? Tyron, get behind me! A monster, it's a monster! Okay. Someone called the Inquisition, the King's Guard, anyone! Your Honor, can you please restore order? Your Honor? The old man fled out the back door at the moment he saw me. It can talk? It's a demon, it must be! It's just like the legend says. Can we all just calm down? Takes a while before you can get everyone in the room to settle down. Eventually, it was clear that the demon wasn't intending on harming anyone, at least not yet. The court ordered extra guard just in case, and you're eventually able to bring everyone back to the courtroom. Mr. Cuthbert, what is the meaning of this? Sorry, I didn't know it was... actually, what are you? Are you a demon? Well, yes, I am a demon. Demon actually exists? I thought they were only a legend. Your Honor, not only do demons exist, the defendant had made one into her familiar. She's only blind in the literal sense. She's currently looking through the eyes of her familiar to see. Anne? What do you mean, Anne? It's pretty obvious that making a pact with a demon is incriminating by itself. Tell me, Your Honor, do the laws of God prohibits in entering in accordance with a demon? They don't, but... Then my client has committed no crime. Even so, I really prefer not revealing Meredith like that. Meredith, is that your name? It is what most people call me. That's my occupation, demonic familiar. I suppose you have a point. Tomorrow, having a demon as your familiar isn't technically illegal. However, this does prove that the defendant had a way to commit the murder, all while under the eyes of everyone in the ballroom. She could have sent Meredith back upstairs to the gallery and then had him still this sort of spillating. After that, they'll just need to traverse the vents into the Williams study, just like Eugene's did that night. The fact that her familiar is a demon proves that she couldn't have done it. What do you mean? You saw how everyone reacted when they saw Miriam's form. A monkey may have raised some eyebrows, but someone surely would have reported Miriam if they saw him. Tomorrow, your client is a master of illusion magic. Can I assume that we'll find invisibility in her spell conjurum? You might. And with the connection granted by familiar bond, she could have cast the spell on him regardless of where each of them was. I'll admit that my client does know how to cast invisibility. But your theory raises another question. Could my client continue casting it unnoticed? Continue casting it? You'll understand after once I go over the events that night. At an unknown time, someone stole the Sword of Spelling from the Harrison Gallery. Due to the timing of this, I'll admit that it would be logically consistent if my client was the thief. However, sometime later, my client met with the Crown Prince and was watched closely by the King's Guard. From witness accounts, including yours, we know this happened at 12:45 AM, and since this time, my client didn't leave the King's Guard's sight. It was around this time that William Figure retreated into his study and locked the door. He made a point of telling everyone that he didn't want to be disturbed. Then at 1:03 AM, Lord Harrison finally discovered that the sword was stolen. It's not even done yet. He reported the theft to the Inquisition, and they activated the lockdown system. Shortly after the report, Lee Frege tried to speak with her father about the theft. William Frege, he reiterated that he didn't want to be disturbed. Leaf saw his face, and there weren't any traces of illusion directly on his body. That means William Frege was still alive at this time. Unbeknownst to everyone at the time, William Frege was attacked by the murderer at 3:12 AM. This is confirmed not only by John's huge testimony, but by autopsy report. Then at 3:26 AM, the King's Guard found this Sword of Spelling in my client's old room. The King's Guard tried to arrest my client for this, but the Crown Prince told them to stand down. Finally, at 3:36 AM, the lockdown was lifted. John Hughes reported what he heard, and that's when the Inquisition and the King's Guard discovered the body. The theft must have happened at about 4:23 AM, when it was actually reported. In order to keep Meredith concealed at every step, my client would have needed to keep him visible from 1:03 AM to 3:12 AM. Okay. Not only that, she needed Miriam to yield the Sword of Spelling to ignore the effects of the anti-magic field. This means he would need to be invisible for more than an hour. What's your point? My point is that invisibility has a duration of 1 hour. I'll admit my client could have cast invisibility before she met with the Crown Prince, but if she wanted to keep Miriam invisible, she would have needed to recast the spell at some point that night. As you know, my client could have done so during the night without the King's Guard noticing it. Your logic makes sense, but that can only mean that the defendant refreshed the invisibility right in front of everyone watching. In front of the King's Guards, the two princes and Lucio were stolen? As unlikely as it is, it's the only conclusion I can come to. I had a feeling you'd say that, which is why we have a witness who can confirm that Beatrice didn't perform any magic that night. A witness? Your Honor, the defense would like to call Prince Alaric to the stand. I see. You would have certainly been close enough to notice the defendant casting magic, but wouldn't the Crown Prince testimony be more suitable? Are you trying to say Prince Alec is unqualified to give proper testimony, Your Honor? Of course he's saying that. The kid is 7 years old. No, of course not. Is the prince ready to testify? Go respite for the Lord's sake. Thank you for coming in, Prince Alec. Could you please hold your tongue, knave? You will speak when you are spoken to. Oh god, he sounds exactly like Miriam when we first met her. Yeah. Honestly, he behaves exactly how you expect a prince of this running kingdom to act. As is the odd one out in this situation. It makes you wonder what made him so down to earth. Your Highness? Mr. Cuthbert believes that the defendant used her magic when she was with you and the Crown Prince. I already gave my statements to the instigator. This man dares to question my testimony? Yes, he said it, not me. Wow, the judge didn't even think twice about throwing you under. Well, very well. My testimony is required to strike down those redundant accusations I will bestow upon you. Redundant? Don't you mean ridiculous? Mr. Cuthbert, don't you dare suppose what His Highness really meant. His boot must be shining from all that thinking you're doing. What was that? Nothing. You think they figure cast magic right in front of me? Don't be a serf! She was under careful watch of the Kingsguard, my brother, and Lord Stillwind. We conversed the whole night and I didn't see her cast any magic. Busy through so much over the past few years, all because of her horrid father. She'll never do something like this. You and Lady Stillwind are just jealous! He seems really convinced that he didn't see anything. You doubt that he's intentionally lying. Celeste, usually when you detect magic, I can see magical energies overlaying your eyes. Yeah, there's always been a visible magical effect on the target when I cast a spell. But Miriam was probably in another room. The King's Guard wouldn't see the initial magical effect of invisibility. Even if there wasn't a visible effect in that room, she would still need to say the incantation and perform the gesture with her hands. Like when you shout Arcane every time you scan a crime scene. I don't shout it. Hold on a second. Right. Of course. Anyway, she must have done the creation and gesture at some point during the night. Did she ever get the opportunity to conceal herself to do so? Celeste, what do you usually do when you need to cast a spell? Honestly, there's a lot of things I need to account for. Stamina, focus, and are a big part of it. Assuming she's in perfect condition, what's the bare minimum that she would need to do? Well, she would just have to focus on magic, say the incursion, and perform the gesture with her hands, all at the same time. This does sound pretty conspicuous, but she must have hidden it somehow. You may think the idea is absurd, Your Highness, but the defendant was clearly good at keeping secret. She could have easily concealed her action at some point during the night. A brief moment to say the incursion and perform the gesture would have been all she needed. But I wasn't the only one watching her! Why would you need to do that? Or would they have really noticed her casting one spell? The King's Guard are the most vigilant knights in the kingdom. They are trained to watch and counter a major spell. The defendant needed to target someone who was in another area. There would be no visual indication that she was using magic, but she would have needed to perform the incursion and complete the gesture with her hands. She's pretty knowledgeable about the arcane arts, but as a Prince of Wavengard, you suppose that's to be expected. If I recall correctly, you and your brother were with her until she was arrested for the murder. What did you speak about? She told us about what she did while she was away. She was researching something. I forgot what she said. Something about the occult. You mean the occult? Yes, that's it. She was researching ghosts and demons. Considering who her familiar is, her research must have paid off. Anyways, Your Highness, could you please add this to your testimony? It's kind of funny, like, even towards the end of the trial, there's still some things that put things in the loop. If I must. You're clearly sympathetic to her situation, but you must only be in a toddler when she left 5 years ago. My brother spoke of her a lot. He told me all about her. I could tell from his face, he was really sad that she ran away. Even if it's not romantic, Esther clearly cares about her a lot. The prosecutor must have complicated feelings about that. Still win. Well, I can't speak for Miss Dillon, but I'm just trying to get to the truth. Liar! You just hate her because she's a noble, don't you? Lord Von Shank just told me all about you. You want to lock up nobles because you're jealous of how much gold we have. So he speaks with Von Shank frequently. That actually explains a lot about his personality. So what do you... Okay. Oh wait, but no, fuck, run. Aha, there we go. To cast a spell, a mage needs to speak an inquisition, but there's nothing that says you can't say anything before or after it. Your Highness, according to your testimony, the defendant told you the occult are fascinating phenomena. Is that exactly what she said, word for word? Wait, what? Occult are... Wait, what the fuck? Occult are phenomena. Occult are Is that what she said, word for word? Yes, stories she told us were quite interesting. They really stuck a chord with me. I see. Well, even if they were interesting, testimony proves she did cast this invisibility spell that night. Are you deaf? I already told you. No one heard her say any inquisition, nor did she perform any gestures. Unfortunately, your testimony proves the contrary. Beatrice Frega said an equation and performed a gesture right in front of you, all without anyone even knowing it. What? Your Highness, there are two components that require to cast invisibility. First, the caster must speak the equation occult R and clap both of their hands together. As I'm sure you noticed, the defendant has quite the habit of clapping both of her hands to calm herself. Now that I think about it, that habit must have come from a constant casting the spell. The defendant requires mirroring entity, so she must constantly cast invisibility to keep him invisible. Chaput, you may have an explanation for how she hit the jester, but she would have still needed to speak the equation. However, she did speak the equation. The witness testimony proves it. What are you talking about? I never said she spoke any equation. Your Highness, the equation for invisibility is occult RA. Now recall what you said in your testimony. You said the occult R. You said the occult R, a fascinating phenomenon. The pronunciation of that one phrase is identical to the incantation. I see. So she hit the equation in her conversations, and because her target was a creature that was outside of the ballroom, no one saw the magical effects. That means Murith had the means to murder William Freggers, just as Eugene did. Having the means is completely different from actually having done it, Chubert. Very few people have the ability to shatter the display case to steal the sort of spell eating, and even fewer people have the familiar small enough to traverse the fence, which also makes Harrison familiar and equally likely suspect, and unlike my client's familiar, he admitted to breaking into William's study that night. If your client's familiar is truly innocent, why not have him testify before the court? I see. Well, it's nice if it's his first unprecedented witness we had today. The monkey. Is Marion willing to testify, Mr. Mora? You see Tamora deliberating with Beatrice and Mirinth. Let's beat the rice the four of them. You can't hear what they're saying, but they're clearly in disagreement with each other. Mirinth in particular seems to be the most vocal about his displeasure. Your Honor, unfortunately, Mirinth is unwilling to testify. Why the change of heart? My client's familiar may be a demon, but he's afforded the same right as any other person. He is not obligated to testify. You look at Mirinth and he's grinding his sharp teeth together. For some reason, he appears to be looking at you with intense hatred. Why are they being so secretive all of a sudden? Anyways, witnesses can refuse to testify to avoid incriminating themselves, but refusal to testify is suspicious in and of itself. Tamora has no issues with Beatrice taking the stand earlier, so why would she change her tune when it comes to Mirinth? And despite what she said, Mirinth seems like he disagreed with their decision the most. Is it possible he's the weakest link of the three of them? If so, he might be the key to implicating them. You wonder? I see. Mirinth is well within his rights to refuse, if that's what he truly wants. It is. Well, I suppose it's for the best. I doubt he'll be able to corroborate your story at all. Mirinth grind his teeth together. It sounds like metal grinding on metal. Considering his diminutive figure, I don't blame him for being a coward. Mr. Cuthbert, could you please refrain from provoking the literal demon? Oh, it's fine, Your Honor. He can't do anything without his master's word. And between him and the defendant, it's clear that Beat Rice is the brains of the operation. Yeah, let's see the earlier statement. Great pride in the ability to deceive and corrupt people. You shut your filthy celestial mouth! Mirinth, what are you doing? I will not stand here and be insulted by a bloody Heavensborn! Heavensborn? I am still within my contract! I will not flee from the likes of him! You want my testimony? I'll give you my goddamn testimony! Oh, did you go? Your Honor, my client does not consent with her familiar to testify. Tamora, didn't you hear that Mirinth is afforded the same right as any other person? He has a right to refuse to testify, but only he can decide if he wants to exercise it. And he clearly intends on giving it. So, Mirinth, why did you testify about what you were doing on the night of the murder? Gladly. Oh, I like this creepy remix. I provided sight to my keeper while she spoke with the princess. I'll admit that she did cast invisibility on me during the conversation. She needed to keep me hidden after all, but I never left the room where my master's was. Nor did I steal the sword of spell lady. You have nothing on me, Heavensborn. You don't even have proof that I entered William Frigga's study. You only expect us to take your word for it? Or do you have evidence to support your alibi? I only speak the truth, Heavensborn. There were measures other than my key that I could have stolen the sword, but by your own admission, none of your witnesses saw me on the night of the murder. The one lacking evidence is you. He has a point. You still need definitive proof that ties him to the murder. Pressing contradicting evidence might not be possible. However, he's clearly lying in his testimony. There's something about the way he's speaking. Presenting contradicting evidence. Why is he pausing so much? You're not seeing any thoughts in the eyes, but perhaps you can try to interpret the meaning of his words. Is this something you frequently do? Yes, my keeper's accident left her completely blind. She looks through my eyes to see her surroundings. And did she look through your eyes while she was with the princess? Yes, she did. He took a pause before answering your question. Wait, does that mean she normally casts invisibility every hour? My keeper is a powerful mage, and my pact with her has only made her stronger. Wow, that's actually really impressive. Really? Casting spells may look effortless, but continuously casting spells takes a lot of stamina out of the caster. She must have a lot of stamina if she can cast a high level illusion every hour. And did your master leave the room while she was with the princess? No, I'm sure you remember my keeper was under the careful watch of the King's Guard and Lucio Stillwind. And you maintain that you never left the raw room. As I said, I never left the room where my master was. He has a habit of pausing before he responds to you, but it only happens sometimes. Is it some strange demon accent? Or is it something else? Nor did I still sort of spill it. Beatrice was one of the few mages that present that could shatter the glass. Yes, but being able to do so and actually doing it are two different things. Yeah, he's right. You're only able to convict Beatrice until you can connect Mira to the murder. But you have a feeling he's the one who's gonna give it to you. Why do you keep calling me that? Oh, does the Heavenborn not know about the nature of his blood? Your blood? Could he be referring to your mother? Wait, do you know where my abilities come from? Oh, how marvelous! You don't know, do you? If you make a pact with me, child, I can tell you the nature of your blood and much, much more. Mr. Bird, please don't make deals with the devils in my courtroom. I wasn't planning to, Your Honor. You clearly know something, but making a deal with the demon is just asking for trouble. He could also just be trying to distract you. You should stay on task. He's definitely more direct than most witnesses. Yes, but he's still clearly lying. There's something off about the way he's speaking. Objection! It takes taking pauses before certain statements, but not all of them. And more importantly, his word choice was different. Did he slip up? Mirith, looks like you misspoke a word and used the wrong word. What? Though most of your testimony, you refer to Beatrice Frege as your keeper, you refer to her as your master during one statement. Why is that? For the first time, he doesn't have a response. I'll ask you again. Did you leave the ballroom that night? Asked again, even though you pointed it out. Huh, yeah. Yeah, I knew that. Why isn't he correcting it? Does that mean he's intentionally using that term? If so, why? There has to be a reason why. Wait, what? Wait, whoops. Okay, wrong way around. Okay, if you take his word at face value, the master you're referring to isn't Beatrice. But if Beatrice is his master, then his statement, I have never left the room where my master was, would technically be true. But why even bother making that distinction? He clearly has no moral hang-ups about committing murder. He could have just lied. Demons apparently have prided themselves on tricking and corrupting humans. So why didn't he just lie in this? When he just lie in his testimony? Oh wait, whoops. No, it can't be. Demons are clearly different from humans, but would they seriously have a limitation like that? You explain why Timora and Beatrice were so opposed to having him testify. There's only one way to know for sure. Witness, could you repeat this following statement for me? Tyrion Cuthbert, but its hair is green. What kind of ridiculous request is that? Another pause. Afraid I must agree, Mr. Cuthbert. Please don't waste our time. I'm just conducting a little experiment, Your Honor. So I'll ask you again, ask you again, Meredith. Say the following phrase. Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is green. Your Honor, Cuthbert is clearly making trivial requests to solve for time. His request is not worth a response from the witness. That's not what I'm doing tomorrow, and I think you know that. Meredith, we surely don't know much about demons aside from the stories they told in myth. So is it possible that demons are physically unable to lie? Damn it. I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but that seems quite ridiculous. Why wouldn't the witness be capable of lying? I generally don't know, Your Honor, but his testimony speaks for itself. He could granting my request. Say Tyrion Cuthbert's hair is green, witness. You said it yourself. It's green. That's not what I asked for, witness. Repeat the statement I told you, word for word, nothing. The prosecution's argument is absurd. The witness is not obligated to fulfill such an outrageous request. I might be compelled to agree with you, Mr. Mora. If the witness were clearly avoiding if the witness wasn't clearly avoiding fulfilling that request. Well away, Meredith. You can easily prove me wrong by repeating my statement plainly. Ugh, you filthy heavens-born! Say it, Meredith! Tyrion Cuthbert! Tyrion Cuthbert is his... Build. Blonde. Technically it's a dirty blonde. Oh, shut up! Is Mr. Cuthbert correct, Meredith? Are you actually unable to lie? I think his silence speaks for itself, Your Honor. Remarkable. I would have never imagined. And with that, proving my case might be a simpler matter. Meredith, did you murder William Frigger? I'm sure you understand, under these circumstances, staying silent is basically an admission of guilt. You have no reason to stay quiet, Meredith. Tell him the truth. Lee Beers, what are you? I believe it's time to come clean, don't you, Meredith? So that's your play. Don't think you can just stall for time, Miss Frigger. Meredith have no choice but to answer the question. Do it, Meredith. Tell the court the truth. To answer your question, yes. I did murder William Frigger. What are you doing? Miss Frigger, does it mean you are confessing the murder? Oh, Your Honor, I'm not admitting to anything. The confession comes from Meredith himself. For me, just... Let me ask you a question, Meredith. Did I order you to murder my father? No, you did not, Lady Beatrice. What are you talking about? You're lying, aren't you? Demons are unable to lie, Mr. Cuthbert. Damn it, she's right. She must have done something. Did she plan for this? She must have arranged something so that her statement would be technically true. She could have asked someone else to give the order, or she could have implied it. Either way, she should plead in ignorance and blame everything on Meredith. Still, this isn't over. Oh, is that so? Let me tell you, this trial was over the moment Arya turned her blade against me. I don't care who you are, man, king, or demon, you're not getting away with this. Oh, I love the gravitas behind that. I wonder how long you'll last. Hit me up with your best, heavens born. Here we go. Beatrice Frigger, you may not have technically ordered your father's murder, but you're clearly acting with malice. You brought something dangerous to the manor, something that you knew would harm your father. Oh, really? And what would that be? And what would be so dangerous that implies lethal intent? Fuck. You brought Meredith into Fergus Manor that night. You were clearly planning to murder your father from the start. I require Marion to see that does not imply lethal intent. But you brought a demon into that house, and as a result, your father was killed. That's hardly an innocent mistake. My client specifically asked if familiars were allowed. We even received a written legal confirmation beforehand. But you couldn't have possibly expected her to bring in the demon. He didn't specify not to do this. The presence of Miriam did not break any of his rules or nor any law made by the kingdoms. Right you are, Tamara. I can hardly be blamed if my familiar acts without my knowledge. How can you be blameless in Miriam's action? He's your familiar. By that lame logic, should we also blame Lord Harrison for the action of the pet monkey? As I recall, he broke into the study, tampered with the crime scene, and then left with my father's body without reporting it. That's... Meredith and Eugene are intelligent and sentient creatures. They have their own autonomy. Their keepers are legally responsible for their actions. Damn it, she's playing devil's advocate. But I suppose that's fitting for her. But, you still cast invisibility to keep Meredith hidden that night. Mr. Chabert, I always cast invisibility on Meredith. I can't very well let people see him. Face it, Mr. Chabert, you have nothing on me. Every crime related to the murder was committed by Meredith. Yeah, wasn't it that? Okay, hold on. Is it? Okay, yeah, just different evidence. Okay. Beatrice. Meredith required your magic to break the rules regarding the sort of spell eating. You may be able to explain why you cast invisibility that night, but you can't explain why you cast an application spell powerful enough to shatter that display case. Oh, that I almost forgot it. I plead guilty. What? Here's the charge of grand theft, I mean. I ordered Miriam to help me steal that artifact so I can sell it on the black market. I would have never imagined you'd use it to murder my father. Right, it doesn't matter if she's found guilty of stealing the sword. The Slayer rule only takes effect if she's found responsible for her father's death. Damn it, is there seriously nothing you can do? No, not appeal. Yeah, right. Stuck it out, stupid. Mirith, the sentence for first-degree murder is death. Are you really willing to die for your keeper's crime? Oh, you stupid heavens-born. Demons never truly die. When our bodies are destroyed, we return to the abyss hell. Hell? If I were to die in accordance of your law, I would only return to my plane unharmed. What? Even if I could die, a fate much worse than death awaits me if I fail. Yeah, those three are a pain to argue when they're together. You can't break Beatrice's confidence at all. So, do you have anything else, Mr. Jabert? I didn't think so. Your Honor, it appears we found out the true culprit. I can't believe you killed my father, Mirith. I'm so cross with you. I should give my apologies. I will do it again. Don't worry, I forgive you. Now then, is there any reason why this trial hasn't ended it already, Your Honor? Come on, don't you have anything else? There is one thing. Damn it, not again. Oh, is that all you can do now? Glare at me? What? Mirith, what did you just do? I've been watching him. He's been using an old celestial trick. But it's weak. Your divine gaze won't work here, Heavensborn. You... He looks like that was your last piece, Cuthbert. No, this can't be. It's not how it ends. Not after you come this far. What is it that you like to say in these situations? Checkmate, Cuthbert. Well, I have to say this was one of the more eventful trials I've overseen. It was many things, if not enlightening. But I suppose it all ended the same. Come on, think of something, anything. Come on, think of something, anything. While I find the defendant's actions quite suspect, I must agree with their argument. Aside from the theft of Lord Harrison's exhibit, none of the Miss Figure's actions that night are illegal under private God's law. And there's no proof that the defendant is responsible for her familiar's action. With these revelations, I see no room for debate. We'll be taking a brief recess. I will announce my verdict once we resume. Damn it. Is this how it's gonna end? After everything you've gone through to get here? The world is bleak, merciless, and unforgiving. But I've seen you. I know how bright the light within you is. Use my eyes. Peer beyond the divine gate as I once did. Man's called you a Heavensborn, and your mother told you there's a light within you. You have no idea what that means. What even is the divine gate? Why do you have the eye of horrors? Why are you able to read people's minds? You've been so lost lately, but you finally figure out who you're supposed to be. But all of this, everything you've been leading up to, it was all a lie. You spent your whole life trying to be like Miss Demora. But did she even like her? No, she just wanted you to raise you to be a tool for the Eye Taker. She was never your guardian. She was never your mother. Your real mother died years ago. Sarah's right. Is everyone in your life just trying to use you? Looking back on it, you had no idea what to do with yourself since your mother died. You've just been making mistakes after mistakes. Leaving Aranex, trusting tomorrow, becoming an attorney. You're always just done as you're told. You never once made a path for yourself. But you saved Celeste, and Wallace, and Dragogen, all when no one else would stand up for them. Was helping them a mistake? You fought for a dream that doesn't exist. But that doesn't mean you can't make it real. It's true that you followed Mr. Toro's lead, but you always done what you thought was right above everything else. You wouldn't have stood up to that criminal if you truly didn't know right from wrong. And you wouldn't be standing here if you just done as you were told. What do I do? I'm not going to tell you that. You already know the answer. You always know the answer. Take a deep breath and relax your thoughts. Situation can seem hopeless sometimes, but there's always a way to win in the end. Ask. Oh wait, what? Okay. I thought it would be like the first timing section. In order to convict Beatrice, I need to prove that she was responsible for Marathon's actions. People leave trails, even when they think they committed the perfect crime. The Vans! Something always gets left behind. There has to be something that proves Beatrice gave Meredith the order. Beatrice, no, wait, no, not the Vans. Of course, no, wait, no. That proves that he did murder, but nothing else. Relationship is clearly different than a relationship between two humans. There's a specific way that a relationship works, or the pact as Miriam calls it. Wasn't there something that someone else said? But what was it? Oh right, sort of spell eating is said to have been forged using a pact between a demon and a mage. Isn't making a pact with a demon just asking for trouble? They definitely betrayed the first chance they got. Where legend says that dragons often drafted blood contract for this reason. Wait, do you mean like a legally binding document? The concept is similar, but once you sign the blood contract, both you and the demon are compelled to fulfill its terms. That's right, Beatrice must have made a blood pact with him. A legally binding document like that must describe how their relationship works. They did tell you that Beatrice would never trust someone that she couldn't control, so she could only put herself in a situation where she had full control over Miriam's actions. It's not as if that would ever show to me. It would be taller to even prove that the blood contract even exists. I guess you have a point. But if you ask me, I think you have done a wonderful job so far. So just this once, so let me guide you the rest of the way. What? What? Tyrion, your eyes don't actually read minds. They give you the means to reveal truths that are being concealed. You can put the truth out of anyone and anything. Truth? Oh, hold on, I'll be right back real quick. Stretches. So, say it together with me. Miriams, the well of Erebus. Wait, what are you doing? By the eye of Horus, I issue upon a divine edict. Release thy gods and manifest your blood contract with Beatrice Frega. You did? But how? Is that really your... No, that's not important right now. She gave you what you needed. The rest is up to you. What in the nine hell was that? When did you learn to... Mr. Cuthbert, what just happened? Your Honor, I just made the witness manifest their blood contract. You did what? Blood contract? You can think of it as a legally binding contract. It lays out the terms of the pact between Beatrice Frigga and her familia. Incredible! Where did you learn how to do such a thing? The library? Wow, to think that our kingdom has access to such knowledge. Yeah, I'm not buying it. How did you really find out how to do that? It's a long story. I'm not sure how she'll believe you even if you told her. Anyways, the defense argument is such. Rearance was acting alone and the defendant is not to blame for his action that night. However, take a look at page 7 of this blood contract. Specifically, it specifies that Mirth is prohibited from killing any and all humans, and so it's only one scenario where he can do so. And that's when Beatrice designates someone to be exempt from this rule. You, Beatrice Frigga, you didn't directly order Mirth to kill your father, but you implied it by telling me that he could kill him. Not only that, you did so within the 24 hours of the Lord's Ball. Your intent was clear. You brought Mirth into Frigga's manor with full knowledge that he could and would kill William Frigga. And that is checkmate. And just when I thought the surprises were over, but in the end, we arrived at the truth. I suppose I can't disagree with that. What do you have to say for yourself, Lady Frigga? Do not call me that. It's almost funny that you hate your name that much. Your entire plan depended on your claim to the Frigga estate. Do you have any idea what you've just costed me? Everything has been ruined because of you. Why should I care? Just another number trying to steal power for yourself. Don't you dare lump me together with those tyrants. We wouldn't have just liberated House Frigga, we would have liberated everyone. Miriam, Leif, Arya, even Esther. Our system is broken. And the only way we can fix it is by burning it down from the inside. And as long as King Olaf sits on the throne, the suffering will only continue. Lady Frigga! As a prosecutor, I should warn you. You don't want to add treason to your list of crimes. Even though you'd like to see the king out as much as he does. It doesn't matter. I'm done either way. Heaven's born. Look at page 46 of the blood contract. By accepting this pact, Beatrice Frigga forever binds her soul to the abyss hells. If Beatrice Frigga fails to pay her debts by claiming House Frigga and all of his assets, her soul and mind and her life will be claimed to the Empress of Discord? The contract goes on to name several parts of House Frigga's holdings. There's very little room for ambiguity. Ayers was right. She just jumped to the wrong conclusion. My debts were never to the eye taker. They were to the abyss hells. Why would you agree to something like this? Because I miscalculated. In this folder are records of many plots against House Stillwind and the Crown. It would be a shame if this information fell into their hands. You think this feeble attempt at blackmail will frighten me? I dealt with far more formidable adversaries than you. There's nothing I can solve with House Frigga's resources. What are you talking about? Yukio Stillwind isn't the type of person you can just buy. It's clear your time away has taught you nothing. Everyone can be bored. Even before I left, he controlled every aspect of my life. I saw him as this unstoppable tyrant force, but I never considered one possibility, that William Frigga was a sheltered moron. Honestly, he honestly thought he could pay off Yukio Stillwind. Anyone who's met him would know that would never work. Could have sent this information to Stillwind and the king, but as I was running out of time, I needed to inherit House Frigga as soon as I can. I felt trapped. I felt angry. I just wanted something to change. Something Something about this feels wrong. Something inside you is crying out in anger. A blood contract is still a legal contract, isn't it? What? If it's a contract, we can dispute it. We can find some kind of loophole to get you out of it. What? Trying to redeem the enemy you just defeated? You really are heaven's born. I'm sorry, Mr. Bird, but I won't accept your help. What? Why? We can at least try, right? Did you seriously come this far just so you can die? The dispute of blood contract is to bet your own soul. If you fail to render it null, your soul will be dragged to hell alongside hers. Even your divine blood won't save you from that fate. But still, I can't just... You beat me, Mr. Bird. I don't want to drag anyone else down with me anymore. Not you, not Leaf, not Miriam. Despite everything, I still have my dignity. I believe there's no further need to prolong this trial. Bellev, please escort Miss Mayfair and her familiar to a holding cell. I'll be passing my verdict shortly. Hey, are you okay? Yeah, as okay as I can be. Still feel uneasy about how things turned out. Doesn't feel like the victory you were hoping for. You fought against the demons, and you can't help but feel like you just lost. But we need to talk. What's done is done, but the boss is going to take kindly with what you've done today. I know it's a long shot, but maybe if you talk to him, he'll know. Japan, this is serious. He's gonna send people after you. Dangerous people. You can't just ignore this. Please, just listen to me, Ed. Shut up. Tyrion? How could you do this? How could you work with criminals? Shabert, everything you told me, all those ideas about protecting the weak, it was all a lie. Everything Commander White said about you is true, isn't it? I'm just trying to... I don't want your help! As you yell at her, your voice echoes through the whole lobby. Several of the people nearby turn silently. I gave everything for you. My childhood, my home, my happiness. I left it all behind to chase the ideas that you told me you were fighting for. But it was never real, was it? You made me throw everything away. All for a goddamn lie. But I'll make it real. I'll do it without you. Tyrion, She reaches her hands out to you. You step away from her. You never cared about me, did you? All you care about is using the Eye of Horus. That's not... Shut up. I don't want to hear any more of your damn lies. Go away. Get the hell away from me. I never want to see you again. Without a word, she walks away from you. Tyrion. She reaches out her hands to hold yours again, but she hesitates this time. Do you honestly think Celeste will ever love you? I'm sure you understand now. Tomorrow I can only afford to pay an extra salary because of my father. You already burned that bridge. So where do you think the Crimson Demon will go when you can't afford her services anymore? Do you think she has the luxury to play around with you for free? Or do you actually think she is spending time with you? Tara, you have to look at this rationally. Any support and affection that she's giving you has only been to keep you as an employer. No. What? I can't believe it. We actually won. Tyrion, Celeste, there's no way for you to avoid checkmate. Checkmate next turn. Just surrender. There, what about that? Checkmate. Damn it. You've been acting weird since we arrived at Aranex. Does it have something to do with your mother? Please, just talk to me. I'm your friend, aren't I? Your hands are trembling. Why are you so scared right now? It feels less holding your trembling hands behind you. It's the same sensation you felt back then. Anxiety felt, and you take a deep breath. I'm not going to do that, Miss Tamara. As she hesitates to hold your hand, you reach out and grasp it. Smile as you take hold of it. She seemed glad you didn't pull it away this time. Without thinking, you pull her into a hug. Sorry, I just needed this right now. Should I stop? No, it's just people are staring at us. Who cares what they think? They're nobles. They're gonna hate us no matter what we do. Oops, I am. Wait. Still not sure what you're gonna do next, but perhaps you don't need to, even if tomorrow's ideal was a lie. Hey Celeste, there's been something I want to talk to you about. What is it? It's hard to explain really. I don't really know where to begin. But it's about the ability I have. I call it the Eye of Horus. Even if that idea is a lie, you have the power to make it real. Even if you can't trust tomorrow anymore, you have people in your life that you can trust. And that's how it ends. Okay, I gotta get to sleep, whoops. What a fine mess this is. That kid has completely and utterly ruined everything. Just as much as the Tomorrow hates it, we're gonna need to put him in the ground. I don't think that'll be necessary. Sorry, love. I know you're fond of him, but I can't let an insult like this go unanswered. He's gonna have to pay the price. I think you misunderstood me, father. I meant that this facade is no longer necessary. What the hell? Is something wrong, father? Who the hell are you? You look nothing like my daughter, so why? It happened centuries ago, I believe. Our great ancestor hated the monarchy and needed a weapon to fight the mages of the noble house. So he made a pact with me. What are you talking about? But things didn't turn out like he wanted, I'm afraid. Poor Lord Lyrion's plot was discovered and his noble house was stripped of its ranks and status. Is that what happened back at the painting? His very name was stricken from the annals of history. He was supposed to give me Wyvern God. I suppose I had to settle for claiming his bloodline. Warrior, how do you know my name? No one knew about that name, not even my real daughter. I know it's been centuries. I haven't forgotten, John. Everyone in your bloodline belongs to me, including your daughter. You bastard! What did you do to her? What did I do to all my prey? I made her suffer. No. Do you know that she was crying out for you for months? I made her watch, you know. I made her watch as I took her place. Oh wow, the father that she clearly calls out forgot who she was. All while my minions slowly and painfully tore her soul apart. You monster! You goddamn monster! I enjoyed her torment while it lasted, but even that couldn't satisfy me. What I really crave most is the blood of a celestial. That's what this is about? That stupid kid? But I can't have you kill my dear Tyrion just yet. At least not until I'm done with him. You goddamn demon, I'll kill you! This man is your enemy. Your life goal is and has always been to exact revenge on him. What the hell are you talking about? I lost everything because of you. They kicked me out of the Inquisition because of your false testimony. What? Let go of me! You killed my entire family. I wanted you to get away with this. What are you talking about? I didn't do anything! Hey, isn't that the noble who killed all those children? I heard he got released by paying off the judge. What are you talking about? Get away from me! Don't let the guys. We know what you did. Don't. Stay away! Ah! I'm not gonna do that. It's too loud. We finally entered the final act, my dearest Tyrion. And from what I've seen, I know exactly how I'm gonna break you. And I hope you're just as excited as I am.